ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost. Everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just remember.
From Watkins, Glen in beautiful wine country in upstate New York, the Charity Cup Series is ready to get it on tonight with 5 separate races at 5 separate racetracks right here on Sim Racing Media. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth, where tonight we got the band back together. Where, of course, as all things serious, John and Dave with you in the booth. And, John, things are starting to look up here as, we're getting ready for this qualifying session to end. The first qualifying session, we've got a complicated night of racing ahead of us.
Yeah, we certainly do have a complicated night of racing. Looking forward to it. It's quite the change, something that we don't see very often on the NASCAR style of racing. We're going to go to 5 different tracks, 5 different races, 5 different vehicles. Each race length is going to be 30 minutes. So these drivers are going to start here at Watkins Glen in the ARCA car. We're going to end the night in the Cup Series car at Michigan. We're going to have we're going to have Echopark. We're going to have Charlotte, as well as another location. We're going to have the Pro Series, the Pro 2 Series at Echopark, the Craftsman Truck Series at Bristol, the O'Reilly Series at Charlotte, Cup Series at Michigan, and we're going to be racing till about 10 or about 11 p.m. Eastern, if I'm correct. So without further ado, qualifying is almost over. Today's race is going to be Watkins Glen. Outside air temps 120 degrees, and the track length's almost 2.5 miles, 1 fast repair.
Yeah, that fast repair is going to become really key to a lot of these drivers. And I mean, especially, it's going to change with every racetrack that we go to. Now, each race is actually going to be only 30 minutes long, which all of that's going to overlap from qualifying through. But, the important thing to remember is that when the checkered flag flies, it won't fly until we hit that 30-minute mark. And then whatever lap they happen to be on, whether it's lap 50 or lap 75, at the end of that lap, that's what will trigger the end of the race and name the winner. And at the end of each race, each winner, and it will be 5 separate winners tonight, they will actually be getting themselves $30 for their selected charities. And we're going to see a lot of those charities tonight here on the racetracks. As I'm taking a look right now at Brian Bogner on his qualifying run. He's the last driver out on track here in the ARCA car, which ARCA at Watkins Glen is kind of unique, all things considered. Now, of course, he's also in the Kids for Warriors machine, which is something unique to right here. And this driver out of Roanoke, Virginia, he says he's got 9 3/4 of his fingers, so I'm guessing maybe we call him Stumpy for the rest of the night, Brian Bogner.
Well, so far everybody's chasing Jacob Manning, who put down a time of 1:11.773, which is fairly close to the times you used to see with the Gen 6 Cup Series car a couple years back, whenever people were driving the Gen 6 instead of the new Cup Series car. But, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, this ARCA car is fairly similar to the old Gen 6, or more so to the old O'Reilly car. That's to be the end of qualifying with 30 seconds away from grid.
There we go. Yeah, and to your point, yeah, this actually is more similar to the Gen 6 car. It's that same amount of torque at the rear end out of the housing. So, and that solid axle is going to provide some really interesting transitions, especially as you get through some of the road course features here as we get ready to go green flag racing. Going to drop on down here. About 10 seconds left. Jacob Manning, as you had mentioned, took fast time, so he's going to be awarded the pole award here in our first race. In that 50-cent piece machine, drivers now going to grid up. And want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. Dave Regal and Jonathan Leach with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth as drivers now hopping into their machines. Going to see some interesting paint schemes tonight if this is your first night with us. And some of them not so interesting, but for a lot of these drivers that have those specialized charities, we're going to see a lot of that action here on the Cars Night. And, of course, qualifying now being complete. Let's take a look at that starting lineup. Starting on the pole is going to be Jacob Manning, and to his outside, it's going to be Jamerson King. Starting in row 2, it's scheduled to be Stephen Ray and Jacob Link, starting in 3rd and 4th. Starting in row number 3, there's Stephen Ray and Jacob Link. Starting in row 3, going to be Dylan Chavez. He's got the 7 machine alongside of Ian Davis in the 11. That's a no-bull machine right there. Brian Bogner and Isaiah Flight holding things down in row number 4. And I'll tell you what, that snap-on car, hopefully he can strap on the helmet and snap on the seatbelt, as Brenton Barker going to be sitting behind him in row number 5 with Tyler Burns starting in 10th position. Justin Crittenden and Colby Hardy going to be starting in row number 6, with row 7 going to Hunter Cox and Mitchell Dolan. Ryan Rose and Curtis Mitchell, the chief cook and bottle washer here in the monthly Charity Race Cup Series, with Tucker Zimmerman starting shotgun on the field tonight in the number 78 A&W Root Beer machine. So 17 cars scheduled to take the green flag here for the next 30 minutes on Sim Racing Media. As all of you just checking in with us now, we want to thank everybody in the youtube.com live chat. Make sure that you subscribe, follow, and turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified every time we go live right here on Sim Racing Media, your home for all things Charity Cup Series.
All right, so rounding out the field, you got TJ Allen. He's a Michigan native driver, someone I've met in person, Dave. We went to a local short track, 3-4 years ago. Met him on the iRacing circuits before the whole broadcasting thing started. The drivers are kind of coming through the S turns here, so we're going to have, I'm showing 18 of them. And actually, TJ may not be on track at this time. Tucker Zimmerman's showing us the final car on track. But as we're coming through the S turns, probably about another minute and a half, 2 minutes before we get to racing. And again, it's going to be 30 minutes. So we're looking at maybe 25 laps is my best guesstimate that we're going to get around here at Watkins Glen. By the end of this, these drivers are, the tires are going to be gone on these machines. I'm curious to see how they're going to behave with these cars around the track. I believe they don't make nearly the same downforce as the Cup cars make. But it's going to certainly be interesting, and like to see how the field is going to get spread out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially because, there's no lap benchmark for these drivers to follow. We're used to saying, oh, well, you got to figure with 30 minutes and about, minute and a half per, we're looking at about 25 laps, which is just about where you want to be overall with that pit cycle here at Watkins Glen. So going to be an interesting dynamic, especially we know that there's going to be a few people who are simply the road course whisperers. We see that in every league, no matter where they're from or are. So there, this is the only road course of the night, as you had mentioned. We start here at Watkins Glen. Pace car goes on down pit road. And folks, that means the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag in the air, and off we go down into turn number 1. Jacob Manning commands the field. We were just talking about being a road course whisperer, and here he is leading Jamerson King, my goodness, by about 0.4 of a second. There will be no caution flags this time around.
And we just saw just a couple of moments ago Gonna cut you off. Just saw a couple moments ago, Tyler Burns got the short end of the stick on the restart, getting forced into the grass before the entrance to turn number 1 and lost numerous positions right at the start, all while Manning has already stretched to a 1.5 second lead over King.
Yeah, again, this is an interesting dynamic, all things considered, when you figure that most of these drivers are not usually on the road course circuit. In fact, this is usually what causes a lot of people not even to qualify or sign up for these races, as Stephen Reed just had himself a moment a second ago, as I want to quick take a peek back at that. Reed out of St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm guessing he probably just got this thing over-rotated, and he does. You'll see that if you head on over there. But we work here on the opening lap. They've got just 2 under their belts so far. Brenton Barker out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, running in 5th position. Jacob Manning leads the way here, about 1.8 seconds now in front of Jamerson King.
They're already showing drivers coming down pit road, so I'm going to go ahead and make the fair assumption that fuel might be needed, or these drivers are all looking very damaged, are making their stop for their fast repairs to continue going. It looks like Isaiah Flight will be first coming off pit road, taking a fast repair, as a handful of others, one with trouble in the box, all of which replacing tires and doing their fast repair.
Yeah, Isaiah Flight came down pit road and hit that fast repair. The nose was totally gone on the 34. He had actually he had come down and clipped that inside guardrail earlier on in the race, and then came across the nose of the 29 of Brian Bogner. Manning just laid fast time down at 1 minute 11.86 seconds.
Colby Hardy about to leave pit road in just a moment.
I see the 46 was just scampering away. That's Tucker Zimmerman in the A&W machine. Now Zimmerman's going to have to come down pit road. You know, folks, this is something that we see more often than not. You know, drivers having to make right turns, which of course Watkins Glen is very heavy on the old right turns there. There's a lot of elevation that changes here. There's a lot of, you know, big sweeping turns, if you will. We see that more than anything. Where a lot of these drivers, if you think about the way that they operate, they simply aren't used to this rhythm. And Watkins Glen is absolutely one of those rhythm tracks.
This looks to be the closest battle on track, as you're talking about it being a rhythm track, which is funny that you say that. The next track that we go to being Bristol with the truck series, I would call that a rhythm track as well. When you get 20, 30, 40 laps into it, and then all of a sudden you have to stop and you're out of your groove, that restart is very difficult to get your to get the car back under you, at least for me. But once you've got 10, 15 laps going, you know how the car rotates in the corner, how you can get a little bit more out of it, or how you can kind of relax or save your tires some. I would certainly say that after 5 to 6 laps, you're sort of in a groove here at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, you know, rhythm at a place like Watkins Glen, first of all, it's going to help you boogie around this place. And once you find those braking points and the way that you can rotate those cars in and out of each turn, it's going to make your life a million times easier. You know, you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, gee, I don't know how I'm going to navigate this, but look at the time now. We've already got 4 minutes logged in so far for this particular leg.
You look to the rear of Jacob Mann, you can see just how far away Jamerson King is, who is just now the start-finish line as Manning is making the right turn into 1. Wow, that was
Jacob Manning
close.
Here. Jacob Manning almost looks like he's just out for a country drive. He's working through the S's on his way to the bus stop. And, you know, here's the thing. This is the transition from that straightaway out of the S's down to the bus stop on the backstretch here. I mean, this is the most dangerous. You can get a full head of steam, and you've got to be able to woe that car down. and he's able to do a pretty good job, rotating this thing through the bus stop and then through the penultimate turn, the carousel, if you will, at the end here. He's really got a good handle on this ARCA car. And, where the ARCA car may be comfortable for some drivers on an oval, obviously Jacob Manning has figured out how to tame the Tiger here on a road course.
We got a bit of a battle right here for the 5th, 6th, 7th place positions, being between Justin Crittenson, Brenton Barker, and then, of course, Curtis Mitchell. These are the top three, or the three closest drivers to each other on track. Ryan Rose is within 2 seconds of second-place driver Jamerson King, and here comes Barker to make a move on Crittenson now.
Six minutes off the clock so far, as drivers have now gotten themselves, at least on the lead lap, that is, what would be considered the lead lap, if you will. Let's see, looks like about 6 laps, 5.5 on the books.
Ryan Rose has brought the battle within 1 second now for second place driver Jamerson King. As you can see, the gap in real time, 0.7 of a second, under 0.7 of a second. And you can see the battle between Mitchell and Barker also under half a second as well.
Yeah, drivers here doing a lot to keep themselves pointed in the correct direction, if you will. And now that they got some of those opening lap jitters out of the way, they've really gotten themselves into a good pace here, all things considered. And right now working, there it goes. Right now working just under 7 laps as they work lap number 7. Jacob Manning, your race leader. He's followed by Ryan Rose out of Longmont, Colorado. Jamerson King running the 4 car in the 3rd position. Dylan Chavez running in 4th, and rounding out your top 5 out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin is Brenton Barker. Curtis Mitchell just gained after starting in 16th. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What was that?
I had quite the fishtail come out of turn number 1 for Curtis Mitchell, but he held on to it, lost a little bit of time. Now 1.7 back of Brenton Barker from after that big wiggle. He had a big fishtail and managed to hang on to it. While you were talking, Ryan Rose did overtake Jamerson King and has now put a second 1.2 on him, and does appear to be keeping pace with Jacob Manning for now.
Actually, the last lap, he was almost 0.2 of a second faster than Manning. So Ryan Rose has found another gear so far. As we take a look here at the battle box, starting to look pretty good overall, at least for Rose versus King, as, basically Manning has gotten himself into another time zone, 6.2 seconds ahead of Ryan Rose. And, again, this is the kind of situation where Jacob Manning is going to sit out there and go, yep, I'm going to go on a nice Sunday evening drive. It's not going to be a big deal. I'll see you at the finish line. And right now we've got about a third of this race over. So, yeah, we're looking at about 24 laps. I hate being so good.
Worth mentioning, Ryan Rose is today's biggest mover at plus 13. You mentioned Curtis Mitchell earlier at plus 10. Names not mentioned, Mitchell Dahlin up 6, Brenton Barker up 4, Justin Crittenden up 4 as well. And those drivers are all within the top 10 at this time.
All things considered, I think it was great when they opened this place in 1956. They basically opened it because people were racing out on the roads and it was dangerous. And they said, listen, if you want to race that badly, we're going to put this place up, have some guardrails, do a little bit of landscaping, and get you people off of the roads and onto the race course here at this layout. And I mean, it's had several changes over the years, but it also, this racetrack also has the short circuit, which we're using tonight, or the Grand Prix circuit, which they also use, which has an extra little, I'm going to call it a shoe, if you will. It looks like a cartoon shoe if you look at it on a map.
Didn't NASCAR at some point use that that part of the track is I've got the current track map up right now. You can see Jacob Manning highlighted in the number 1 position, and that's just showing his current position on the track as he's about to cross the start-finish line right here. But I mean, really, what a beautifully crafted track, and shout out to iRacing here for doing an excellent job as far as rendering this racing surface. I always have a lot of fun personally when I come to Watkins Glen. It's my favorite road course to attend or race back when I was doing so. And it's been a long time, but it's always a fun track to be on. You got a lot of cars right here together, all following Curtis Mitchell, who's in 5th. They're not all racing for position. Brenton Barker is a car behind him, and that was the 45, not racing for position. Tucker Zimmerman in the mix as well.
Trouble for Jamerson King is King came down out of the final turn and just slammed his nose against the pit. Whoa, gosh. Wait till you go back and see the replay. You're going to want to pull this one up, John. As Jamerson King, you're going to see in just a second, just annihilated his race car.
Fortunately, I don't think I have a replay event for that.
Well, it was definitely an event, that's for sure. Good gravy. Jamerson King now all of a sudden way off pace. Still in 4th position, but he now has an air-cooled engine as the front nose clip of this ARCA car has been ripped off like a Band-Aid. He's going to have to limp this thing around. He's working his way through the final turn now, and I'm fairly certain that he's going to need the fast repair on the double natural here as he takes it down pit road.
All right, here's a view right here of the Jamerson King incident. It's loose, overcorrects right into the wall, and then across the track. Narrowly missed by one driver, and then also collects, I believe, the number 72. Is that Jacob Link? 74 of Jacob Link.
74.
Who also took a big hit there.
Yeah, usually when you want to take a big hit, it's puff, puff, pass. You don't just hang on to it. Oy. Just a rough night for the 77. Jacob Manning, though, retains the lead. We're just about halfway through as we work here on lap number 12. 13 minutes in the books, working on the 14th minute tonight. It's very weird. I keep trying to reprogram myself and say it's a minute, not a lap. It's a minute, not a lap. And now Colby Hardy is now registering as having crashed. Gonna see what happened with him. He just decided maybe to do some landscaping here. He didn't feel like going through the bus stop like a normal person, and the car gets itself. Oh! Where do you see this, kids? Good gravy.
Yikes.
That was definitely a prime delivery right into the pile of tires.
We're on board with Isaiah Flight right now, who's chasing Tyler Burns. Just a couple moments ago before we stepped away, this was under a second of the gap, but Tyler Burns has pulled this back out almost 3.5 seconds in front of him now, as they're both going around the, I don't know what we call it, the carousel corner, and into another series, the hard left-hand turn, setting you up for the right-hander onto the front stretch, if you would call it a front stretch here at Watkins Glen, called the grandstand way, as Tyler Burns now stretched to a 4-second lead over Isaiah.
Big night. Now I'm just seeing Curtis Mitchell. Curtis Mitchell was trying to throw a caution, and I think it did.
Now I'm showing caution is out, so I guess at the 15-minute mark, we're going to throw a caution. We're going to get everybody back together. We're going to try again. I mean, it is for charity. It's what these guys do. But we're going to step away. We're going to leave everything live here as the caution goes underway. But actually, they're going to wait a second to see if looking for a pace car, what I'm looking for. So far, I do not see a pace car. There's the pace car. It was waiting for Jacob Manning to come around. It's going to somehow, at the speed of light, get in front of him. And there it is.
That's the miracle of a simulator.
All right, folks, we're going to step away just for a moment, and when the action comes back, we will be back to call it.
Welcome everyone back to Watkins Glen International. Dave Regal and Jonathan Leach with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, getting ready to go back green flag racing. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out as we come through the S's, if you will. Every driver on the lead lap, plus our lucky dog, Mitchell Dolan, which he's not just going to be the lucky dog. Actually, he's kind of like the unlucky dog if you think about it. Came down pit road. As we get restarted, it's going to be Ryan Rose and Dylan Chavez on the front row, Bretton Barker and Justin Crittenden in row 2. Row 3 going to be Jacob Manning and Tyler Burns, Hunter Cox, Jamerson King, Curtis Mitchell, Isaiah Flight, and Brian Bogner. Going to be the 11 cars on the lead lap tonight. As we want to welcome everybody to Sim Racing Media here on YouTube.com, where you have been able to find us for the last several years, and we better expect to see you in everything else that we do right here on SRM. Taking a peek here at the Brett's Electric number 78 of Ryan Rose, lined up behind the pace car. It's a sharp-looking Chevy right there next to him, and it's painted as the 88, but it's actually Dylan Chavez in the 7 machine.
So I want to take a moment with everybody here watching us live. The next race will be the Truck Series. It's going to grid and be starting at approximately 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central Time. So after the end of this race, which is going to be about 7 minutes remaining at the back of going green, at the conclusion, we'll take about a minute to talk to one, maybe two drivers, and then we're going to step away so we can get primed to be ready for the next track. That'll be coming up for the continuation, and that's going to be at Bristol for 30 more minutes for the Truck Series.
So we go on board here with Jacob Manning. The green flag flies. We're back underway as Manning going to haul it down here into turn 1. Back up to race speed. We go on board now with Manning in fourth position in the 50. Got himself just a hair loose, and now he's sliding back down through into 4th position. We widen things out while Dylan Chavez trots away from the rest of the field. Justin Crittenden in the 22, and Jacob Manning now falling in line behind him.
Quite a shuffle change from the first lap earlier. Now this time it's Dylan Chavez that stepped away almost a second and a quarter from Justin Crittenden, as Justin Crittenden's now showed as the highest or the most positions gained, +8. Jacob Manning was showing to have gotten around him. It has gotten around and has closed the gap now to a half a tenth on Dylan Chavez.
You think he
Trouble
needs any
behind
powder
everybody
for
is
that
that
shading?
Isaiah Flight got off into the gravel, the number 34. Mustang seems to be okay.
50 of Jacob Manning. They go side by side for the lead right here at the start-finish line as they get ready to haul it down into turn 1. Manning going to be able to squirt around Chavez, and now Chavez has no choice but to watch Manning go scampering away with the lead, as Justin Crittenden now in 3rd position is under assault from Tyler Burns in the 79. The number 79 machine now chasing Burns down. They come out of the S's and down the backstretch. It's a long straightaway, and with a great run coming into the bus stop, Justin Crittenden now has to whoa this thing down and head on into the carousel.
And Tyler Burns really gained a lot on the exit of the bus stop there. Can he rotate the corner well and get underneath the number 22 machine? He's not able to do it here, but perhaps give himself position, takes the wider way around the corner, closes the gap. It's to the left side now for the preferred lane for this left-hand turn. He's going to complete the pass. It looks like Tyler Burns, or excuse me, Crittenden just kind of gave it to him. I take that back as he's looking to the inside right now. Are they going to touch? Gives him space. It's going to be a drag race down to turn number 1.
Side by side they go, nearly able to waggle one another's fingers through the window nets at each other as they come into turn 1. Justin Crittenden with the edge right now, but the 79 of Tyler Burns not ready to give up yet, but he gets wide and the 4 goes spinning. That's Jamerson King sideways through that extra turn space there We take a closer look here at the 77 now, as he was all kinds of sideways. All of a sudden, the cameras decide they want to have a seizure. There's the 4.
That was Stephen Ray. We got a difference of numbers and driver paints in here. So it was Stephen Ray that did go around.
Well, that's useful. Back up here further into the field in a battle for 6th position. The 22 being painted as the 30 goes side by side with the 29 of Justin Bogner. Both of these drivers getting ready to go wheel to wheel, coming through the backstretch toward the penultimate turn. And as they come into the final turn, each of these drivers deciding single file is the safest way to get through this thing. You know, at some level, you have to realize that Jacob Manning has opened up, a 1-second lead over Chavez, or Chavis. Maybe Chavis cream is what he uses when he's got to get the razor out of the cabinet.
Chavez probably sounds more Hispanic to me. I could be completely wrong on that. As a 78
to be
hard
fair,
on the brakes right there for Ryan Rose to stay out of the back of Hunter Cox, and is really putting the pressure on. Is now looking for position going into the bus stop, and then the 13 is going to cede the position that moved Ryan Rose up to 3rd.
Hunter Cox now having to chase down Ryan Rose. I'm not sure what he's hunting, but the 13 now, National Guard machine, that Chevrolet having to go after Ryan Rose. And Rose in the 78 has been pretty consistent all night long. He started in 13th. He now runs in 4th, but our big mover of the night is Rose, who's now in 3rd position after starting in 15th. So Hunter Cox and Ryan Rose, Cox being the big one tonight, as he's gotten up 9 positions.
This is the closest battle on track right here into turn number 1 between the 79, Tyler Birds, and Crittenden. These two just can't seem to get away from each other. This is for 7.
Tyler Burns running in 8th position, still getting after Justin Crittenden. This is a good battle if we start to watch these two drivers. I mean, Burns matching Crittenden step for step, sets himself up to the inside almost to take away that entry ability. But he still manages to stay just behind Crittenden. Crittenden kind of having to drive with the rear view mirror more than the windshield tonight. As these drivers have logged 21 laps, they're about to go on to lap 22. And we've only got about 1 minute and 10 seconds left now here at Watkins Glen.
Now towards the front, we've got another close battle. This one's for 3rd. Jamerson King closing in on Hunter Cox. This is the battle for 3rd. Dylan Chavis has fallen back to 6th. So a lot has changed. The white flag just waved. This is going to be the last lap due to time expiring. So what's the 77 do? It's a charity race. Do you move them? Looking for position for the right-hander into the bus stop. Isn't going to make it. This is a good part for the bump if you can get there. Who's going to get through the bus stop better? It looks like the 13 as King goes through the grass. And that'll be probably it for his attempt. However, right here, this battle is still brewing all the way down to the end between Burns and Crittenden. Burns with the advantage. Out of the corner. He's going to be in front for the left-hand turn. What does the 22 have for the final 2 corners? Painted as the number 30. Jacob Manning is burning it down as we're still waiting to see.
He waited until the final lap to lay the fast time down at 1 minute 10.78 seconds.
Well, he had a lot of laps of practice.
Fairly accurate. The Great Lakes Sim Machine scurries off the racetrack as we get ready to head on over to the Truck Series now at Bristol. I want to thank everybody for hanging with us. And we're going to ask for everybody's patience tonight as we're going to have to get moving over there. Dave Regal and Jonathan Leach with you here. You're watching the Charity Cup Series live on Sim Racing Media. Welcome back to Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal and Jonathan Leach with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth as we get ready for the second leg of our 5-race series tonight here in the multi-class Mayhem from the Charity Cup Series right here on SRM. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of your night, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Just had a good finish to the last race over at Watkins, Glen, as now we get ready to see who can bring home the checkered flag here. The deal is, folks, once we go green flag racing, drivers will have 30 minutes to get up to P1. Whoever is leading at the end of the race, when the time runs out, they will be declared the winner, and their charity will get that $30 donation from the Charity Cup Series. Now, the thing is, once the timer hits 0 at 30 minutes, we will finish that lap, and then the winner will be named. So they will race back to checkers every time, as right now on the timing line as we are qualifying here at Bristol Motor Speedway, Rhea Massey is showing top of the pile. And here, Bristol Motor Speedway, to me, out of these racetracks that we're going to run tonight, this is definitely my favorite out of all of them. Bristol Motor Speedway, to me, best raceway there is.
At 0.51 miles of fast high bank speeds, it's going to be one of the faster short tracks you get. Again, 30 minutes, got one faster pair. We've got a lot of drivers in this race. I think I'm showing about 32 drivers are getting ready to grid for this one, Dave, as these drivers are coming onto track at this time.
Yeah, drivers now gridding up. Rhea Massey going to be scored as our pole sitter here for this leg of the race tonight as we get on down here. What's going on? As I'm waiting for Rhea Massey to hop in the old race machine here. Joseph Bobeck is going to sit on the outside of row number 1, while row 2 going to be held down by Jacob Manning and Matt Frady. Brian Bogner and TJ Elaine going to be in row number 3, while row 4 held down by Samuel Power and Corey Williams. Rounding out your starting top 10 is Curtis Mitchell, the leader here in the Charity Cup Series, alongside of Jacob Link, rounding out your starting top 10. In 11th position tonight going to be Dominic Bettini with Dustin McMurray in 12th. 13th goes to Stephen Rhea and Hunter Cox in 14th. Jackson Steptoe, which I guess is different than Jackson's stepdad, is in 15th, while 16th goes to Keenan Kimber. Starting in row number 9, going to be Ian Davis and Dylan Chavis, while Justin Crittenden and Brenton Barker start alongside one another in row number 10. In 21st tonight, it's Mitchell Dolan and Rusty Chansey, as he's going to be in 22nd, while 23rd goes to Tyler Burns and Isaiah Flight in 24th. On the row number 13, Doug Ezell, our only international entrant from the European Union. He's going to be starting in 25th with Luis Hernandez in 26th. And rounding out the field tonight, going to be Patrick Craven, no relation to Ricky Craven, unless we wanted to see that replay itself here. Going to be starting shotgun on the field tonight. So 27 drivers scheduled to take the green flag for these next 30 minutes.
I'd gotta give kudos to a lot of these guys. A handful of these guys just did, 28, 25 laps, 30 minutes, Watkins, Glen, had to rush over, get their vehicles configured, qualify for a completely different racetrack here in Bristol, maybe use the restroom, get something to drink, and here we are. We got 27 drivers that are qualified and gridding for this one. It's going to be a complicated race. And then after this, we're going to go to the Pro 2 series at Echopark. It's just going to be an interesting, night series of events. 5 very different, unique types, 5 uniquely different tracks, 5 uniquely different vehicles. The thing that I want to see is anybody going to win 2 of these races tonight, or will be different drivers each time?
I mean, I would hope with this many drivers and this drastic of a change between, racetrack types, if you will, that we do see different winners. But right now, folks, Rhea Massey coming into turn 3. The iRacing.com pace car getting ready to peel on down pit road. And that means as we roll into turn 3 and 4, the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag in the air, we finally get to make left turns at the last great Coliseum.
And this is something a little bit more familiar with for our drivers, or for a series of drivers. We've already got trouble 2 trucks around. That's going to be, already got 6, 7, 8 trucks involved in this one. That's going to be the first caution before lap 1. Hunter Cox, Jason Steptoe, Brian Bogner, Isaiah Flight, Dylan Chavis, Daniel Power, Dominic Bettini all involved.
For lack of a better term, it is pandemonium. Relatively short order. Under our first caution of the night, we didn't have any over at Watkins Glen, of course, which is kind of the deal there, if you will. And now all of a sudden, I can't get this to switch on over. That's fun.
All right, so we're 2 minutes into racing here at Bristol. We already had 1 caution. We expected that, coming from Watkins Glen to this track. It's very different. It's much faster, and we've got, 27 vehicles on a small racing surface. So these drivers are going to kind of settle in, and then we're going to see who can run to the top. We'll take a quick moment here to see who's our biggest mover already, and see how many positions. Patrick Craven gained 10 positions in a lap. We're going to go ahead and assume he was started behind most of the cars that wrecked. But other
that
notice,
is some expert analysis.
some other noticeables. Dylan Chavis up 8. Michelle Allen up 8. Tyler Burns also up 8.
I mean, the big flop tonight is Cox back there. He's lost 10, and Joseph Bobeck is down 18. So Hunter Cox was a big mover last time, and right now went the opposite direction. Big mover in the plus column, as you have mentioned, is Patrick Craven. But Rhea Massey wants to stay ahead of the curve here as we work with technically what would be lap number 5, but really it's more like minute number 3.
It really is interesting to think about these races in minutes. Very different style going here. We're going to get a single file restart here for Rhea Massey. Jacob Manning, that's a familiar name. Already see him in 2nd place. If anybody's going to win 2 of these in a row, it's going to be Manning. TJ Allen, the Michigan driver, is in 4th. And we're going to see how long we can stay green for this event. Single files. We've already got trouble. We've got a car spinning. Ian Davis, I believe, was involved, as well as one other individual.
Let's take a look here at Davis in the 69. Well, he's painted as the 69. Davis coming out of 2 and down into turn 3 after running the back chute. And the 24 was spinning just ahead of him. That's no fun. Thank God he's got progressive.
Oh, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, well,
At least he's got
good Lord.
progressive truck insurance.
Yeah, it's no different than when Junior had Nationwide.
Yeah, he certainly needed it.
Yeah, that was a rough time in his career, huh?
That's not true. He on his podcast recently said, that he didn't push things, and perhaps he was a little bit more of the opposite of Dale Earnhardt's style driving, because he even said that, he'll try once, he'll block you once, and if he has to block you again, he's just going to let you go. But they said that's because he knows what's on the other end of the second block.
I mean, here's the thing. He also spent a lot more time in the sim. He probably didn't want to get a 4X out there if he tried to throw the block the second time. There are some leagues out here, folks, that we see. I mean, the Charity Cup Series that we have here tonight, these are a bunch of respectful guys, and they understand how to boogie around these places fairly safely. I mean, it's not often that we see these cautions fly like we are tonight. However, I'll qualify that with saying, we do have those leagues on our on the iRacing.com servers that make you want to drop kick a kitten because it just gets that ugly. Assuming drop kicking kittens is something you like to do on Sunday nights.
Tony Trapasso passes away, and you are ready to take all of his ridiculous things that he would say on live.
He sits right here. Look at your screen. Just hanging out with us. And I gotta tape him back up. Way to go, Tony. Messing the whole night up.
Yeah, his robot of mine did a very good job cleaning the house. He'd be rolling, like you always said.
Just yell at Tony.
Yeah.
Hey, done!
Tony, clean the house as we're back to green.
We hit the Echopark restart zone, and off we go. Rhea Massey gets that F-150 down and dirty. I'll tell you what, overall, looking at the way some of these trucks handle, I mean, I'm impressed of how they can get right up against that yellow line here at the bottom of the racetrack, even as you kiss the wall here. And I was talking about it off air, but I feel like it goes without saying. Having Ram and the Chrysler brand back here in auto racing is just this side of hair raising for me. It just feels
single
right.
car spin,
And
33.
we go under caution. Samuel Power, Jason Steptoe, and Doug Azell all wrapped up in this. Of course, as soon as I say that, there's a Ram around. Let's watch the 33 here.
Yeah, just really looks like he's trying to get everything he possibly can out of that corner there, and it just goes around. It's almost like he downshifted. I don't expect that to be the case with TJ, but it just seems like, the rear end came around as he's trying to get everything he could, because as we're seeing, with these cautions, restarts are all you're going to get. We'll try to watch it again on board and see.
This doesn't have the same interior as my Ram. Strange.
No, it just gets loose coming out of the corner. The rear end gets a little bit light. You hear the tires start to spin behind him, and once it happens, he goes around. But, he made the full 360 and didn't stop his forward progress.
Well, if you don't lose forward progress, at least you get the first down.
However, that chain of events led to additional chain of events. As you see, the number 1, the 32, and the 18 involved, as well as the 67 and the 32 Chick-fil-A. They're not open today. Takes the brunt of that one.
Now he's just reminding you to go there tomorrow morning. Get your fruit cup and Diet Dr. Pepper.
You know how difficult it is to not own. You don't even get to own, but to earn the opportunity to run a Chick-fil-A franchise. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but there's many, many, many steps involved.
Yeah, they don't want just some random clown owning 6 of those things like you can do with McDonald's.
No.
And to be fair, the quality of service that you get at Chick-fil-A shows why it should be difficult to own one.
Oh, for sure. I actually know a guy who got to the second to final round. There's numerous rounds and cutoffs that you have to get through in order to be selected, and you can only apply, from my understanding, twice in your life for the opportunity to run a Chick-fil-A franchise. Now might be a good time to talk
Noah,
about. Go on.
Noah, like the guy with the ARC. That Noah guy.
Might be a good
Just thought
time to
I'd
talk
ask.
about some of the sponsors that you know, I do love that shirt of yours that we've got here. Johnson Paving, Langers Auto Spa. Got to thank Premier Racing Setups for being a partner here with Sim Racing Media and others that you'll see circulating as we're getting ready to go back to green in just a moment.
The F-150 of Ria Massey roars back to life as we cross the start-finish line and we go back underway. 10 minutes in the books now, and keep in mind, folks, that, we'll talk about that in a second, but now Jacob Manning now goes to throw it underneath Massey. Manning and Massey go drag racing down the front stretch out of turn 4, and as they head down into 1, they are going to duel it out like a couple of kids in the back seat of the family station wagon, and we go under caution again. Oh, this is just fabulous.
It's a charity series. You had to expect that it was going to be kind of tough running to make this happen, or at least at this track right here. There's not a ton on the line except for what we mentioned earlier, the $30 to the charity. It's going to be a little bit difficult. And again, we just have so many drivers on track, but it makes it interesting because 10 minutes have gone by, and it's the restarts, you know, are paramount to make sure you get as many positions as you possibly can. For someone like Jacob Manning who's trying to win 2 in a row, though, he'd just like to see a couple green flag laps so he can have an opportunity because every time, you know, starting on that outside row, it takes a couple laps to get going and get down to the bottom to make a run at the first place position.
You know, and we talked about the prize money going directly to charity, and it will. You know, and at $30, you think to yourself, it's $30. Well, right now, $30 is a reasonable amount to be spending at the gas pump for, you know, a splash of fuel. And the other thing is, if Manning can pull off the win like that and get multiple wins through the series tonight, through these steps, he could be donating $150 to that charity that he's raising money for tonight.
That's a pretty fair point right now. If you can win several of these, it would be really cool to see. I'd like to see some different winners and some different, you know, charities recognized. But to get somebody or see somebody do it more than once would be pretty neat.
Well, I mean, let's be real. You're part of a sport where you're earning money for a charity while you're probably sitting in your boxers, perhaps in the basement. So, you know, that's not a bad way to raise money for something that's a good cause.
No, not at all.
Going to be Massey, Manning, Williams, Bogner, Bettini, your top 5 when we go back green flag racing. Looks like we're going to have one more parade lap here. 12 minutes and 50 seconds in the books. I will say this. When you and I have done these races for years, you know, whether together or separately, but, you know, having this 30-minute time limit instead of a lap number time limit, it does put the onus on these drivers like, hey, if you want a chance at this, you've got to drive safe because otherwise time's going to expire and we're going to be under caution. I don't care if we're under caution when 13, you know, the remaining 17 minutes of this race is 17 minutes. That's a hard time. It's not, oh, well, could be another 100 laps. As the iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road, Ria Massey takes the green flag, and a Ford, a Chevy, and another Ford come back to life here atop the pile.
Yeah, this time Jacob Manning knows he's got to make something happen pretty much right away, trying to get to the outside of the 23 or perhaps looking for the diamond to be underneath down the front stretch, looking to dive into turn number 1. Ria Massey going to do a great job at, you know, protecting that bottom lane. And if you just continue to do that for, you know, another 16 minutes, you're going to walk away a winner at this event as we've gotten through a couple laps this time.
You know, I was just looking at Manning's hands working that wheel as you had the in-car. And the interesting thing is you don't see Manning really fighting that wheel very hard as we go back to a battle deeper in the field. The 79, check that Phillies paint scheme out. Tyler Burns with the powder blue and the 80s stylized P. That is my favorite, as he's got the maroon paint scheme going down here. Citizens Bank Park on the deck lid. just ahead of the Chick-fil-A machine. That Chevrolet
3 wide
Silverado
right
of
here.
Jason
How long is this
Steptoe.
going to work? The
3
34 is going
wide.
to back out.
I don't know, but the 77 there better ring that bell to fill the pot.
Yes.
K-Love and the Salvation Army all on one truck just sounds like a really interesting combination.
There it was. I saw the one having to overcorrect off the corner. And that's the number 31 and ends up collecting, I think, Jacob Link, and that's going to be the 5th caution. So you can watch the number 1 right here. He's getting tight off the walls, overcorrect, a little loose right there, and just not able to save it. Collects that number 34, or paint scheme of the number 34, which was not Jacob Link. Jacob Link gets it as well as Isaiah Flight. We get back to racing this time. There'll be about 13 minutes to go at Bristol. One more
And
time.
they're just turning lap number 31 now.
The 18 with nowhere to go. The 74, nowhere to go.
Bristol Motor Speedway is very unique for a number of different things. This place does a lot more than auto racing. For those of you that don't know, Bristol Motor Speedway has also hosted college and pro football and hockey and baseball. Like, there's nothing else to do in Bristol besides go to that bar that's got the state line right through the middle of it. And then all of a sudden they, because of course this sits right on the border between Tennessee and Virginia. But they make sure that there's always something to do at the Last Great Coliseum. There's a cool Christmas light display that you can drive through. You pay a couple bucks and drive on the racetrack. Look at Christmas lights. I wonder how many Christmas lights you can cram into a half mile. I feel like that's not a long distance. It's got to be better than where I took the kids last year. Good God. Drove through a farm in the middle of Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, and let's put it this way, I almost had to call the suicide hotline by the end. Gonna have to give me a good camera angle there as we're gonna swap over here. Rhea Massey, Jacob Manning, and Brian Bogner gonna lead things here. The green flag flies. We've got 12 minutes remaining as we get back underway. It's Massey, Manning, and Bogner. 1, 2, 3, they go. And caution. Just kidding. Well, if that's not frustrating. I'm not gonna do the Allen thing. Has Allen changed any of his shtick, by the way?
Hard to say. Not likely.
Yeah, I feel like yeah. I haven't talked to him in a while.
No, Allen's still a huge part. He's done a lot with the charity race. He's currently on the Icon Racing Series right now with Liam, as we've got about 10 more minutes on this one. We're going to step away for a few minutes while this gets gathered up, and we'll be back with you momentarily. All right, so that's going to be the 8th caution out. We're back with you guys now. 24 minutes of elapsed time here at Bristol. So it's been Rhea Massey, Jacob Manning, the
By the way, are
top
we back
2
hot?
all day. And
Making us a part of your evening, Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We're under caution number 8 here at our time at Bristol Motor Speedway. Currently not sure whether or not John can hear me.
Nope, we should be back going now. I'm not really sure what just happened, but I just lost all audio for a brief moment. I apologize about that. We're 8th caution. Want to thank everybody for being here. We've got 3 more races coming after this one, and we've still got 5 minutes here. Sorry for the confusion, Dave. Had a disconnection of my microphone, and it just turned all the audio off on as far as my microphone goes.
It's probably best I was going through the kids' Easter candy like a trash panda.
Thought you lost weight, not ate candy.
I mean, I lost 95 pounds, and I thought I'd treat myself to a piece of candy. I'm not like going face first into a bag of Reese's anymore. Actually, I was going face first into a bag of anything, quite frankly.
Well, if we go back to the barbecue place, I can't really blame you that much.
No, the barbecue place was delicious. I'll give you that one. And to be fair, the bag that was living here at the time, not worth putting your... Anyway. Rhea Massey takes the green flag. Jacob Manning follows in P2. Brian Bogner, Curtis Mitchell, Dominic Benigni, and Corey Williams, your top 6. Just under 4 minutes to go now, as we've logged 26 minutes here at Bristol Motor Speedway. So, nearly going side by side. That was TJ Elaine here in the 33 alongside the Deuce. And they're going to drag race down the front stretch into turn 1.
And like rhythm, like we were talking about earlier, Dave, but some of these guys have it right away, and others are having a hard time. TJ Elaine having a really hard time being low there. You can see all the hand movement right here. Doing an excellent job kind of hanging on to it. It's going to end up taking that position away, move him up to 6th. And it looks like Jacob Manning is getting much more aggressive now with Rhea Massey, trying not to let an opportunity slip by. With only 3 minutes, 15 seconds, they almost collide right here. And now underneath Massey, are we going to see the first lead change of the race?
Hey, if you're going to make the pass, do it with limited time left. 3 minutes to go. You know, and we think to ourselves, 3 minutes is a short period of time. Not when you're here at Bristol. 3 minutes is like at least 6 laps. And they're going to go door to door through turns 1 and 2, down the backstretch, nearly touching fenders coming into 3. They rotate from 3, and now Brian Bogner holding on to P3, watching this unfold in front of him. You know, Bogner's got to be sitting back there thinking to himself, hey, if I just hang loose, let's just get through this mess. There's a reasonable chance, and let's just say a reasonable chance, that he can come out the victor if one of these guys makes a mistake.
Yeah, it's going to also say Curtis Mitchell and Dominic Bettini have been brought into this mix right here as well with 2 minutes to go. So a whole lot just happened in a single minute of discussing. Numerous laps went by, all while we are still green, and there are plenty of battles further on in the back of the field as well here. Lots of drivers all jockeying for position. About 7 drivers no longer on track, as you're seeing Brenton Barker go by Jason Steptoe. Back to the front, Massey is stepping away, and you got about a 3-car battle for 3rd, led by now Curtis Mitchell.
These next 90 seconds are going to be key here as Dominic Bettini, which, by the way, sounds like a candidate for Pope. That kind of sounds fun, at least to me. But Bettini now follows Curtis Mitchell, Jacob Manning, and Rhea Massey. And Massey just about 0.4 of a second over top of Manning. holds his own for the time being, 3/10 now. It's almost like Manning's starting to close that gap a little bit, but it may have been too little too late. We can see those gaps here on the left side of your screen. 56 seconds to go. Hold on to your hats, kids. This is going to be for all the marbles. I'm waiting to see when there's about 30 seconds left as these drivers are running 14-second laps, 15-second laps.
We're going to see how many more laps we can get in 30 seconds, at least 2, maybe 3, because it's when time expires. If they have time, they still haven't taken the checkered flag, they're done. So at the start, the leader passes the start-finish line before time expires. They're going to complete the next lap. If iRacing does not assume that it can do that, this will be the last lap.
Well, with 10 seconds, this should be the last green flag lap we see. Ria Massey leading the way now. 3/4. Oh, and they're wrecking. Well, that'll do it since we're in the neighborhood. And Ria Massey going to bring home the checkered flag. So we're going to split the winnings, as Ria Massey did not win the first race.
We're going to try to see what happened here. We got about 63 laps in for this one, Dave.
It's pretty impressive. Oy. Oh. Sweet baby Jesus.
We're going to try to watch that from TJ Allen side by side right here. I'd like to be able to back this up and see that again, but I don't have the control to do that.
Fine.
And so on the outside, it almost looks like TJ Lane turns into him. But from that view right there, you could see that he was just trying to keep his car, you know, turning left and straight. And that's going to have to be from the banking, I would imagine. And we're going to go to our leader here as we get a short bit of their celebration in. And we've got approximately 10 minutes until the start of the next event. Next event's going to be the Pro 2 Series at Echopark. Dave and I are going to go ahead and step away for this one. It might require a couple minutes. I'm not sure if I have the vehicle or the track.
Makes 2 of us.
And we'll see you on the flip side.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
From Lanier National Speedway, Sim Racing Media brings you the Charity Racing Series, and tonight we thought it was going to be Pro 2s, but it turns out to be dirt stock. In the first two races, we had some really interesting competitions. At Watkins, Glen, Jacob Manning brought home the checkered flag, but with us now here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth is Ray Massey, who won the second leg of tonight's event at Bristol Motor Speedway. Ray, it's a pleasure to have you with us, and take us through that kind of a messy race at Bristol. That was a little rough, but I think every race at Bristol is rough.
It can be at times. I don't know what was happening in the back of the pack, but up front we were having some fun. Jacob was loosening me up. He could pack air, and if I ran the bottom, it lightened up the back end pretty good, so I couldn't get back into gas like I wanted. So I kind of had to play defense for most of it. But he did a great job racing me clean. We had a lot of fun.
You know, it's not often that a man says that he was loosened up by another man, and it means something kind of fun. And on a racetrack, I think that's the only time where it's allowed. But you know, I think
then, yeah.
Right. But you know, and I see a lot of the competition here. They've managed to keep it clean. You guys up atop the pile, you know, that top 5, top 7, somewhere in there, is really where the cool racing is. I'm not trying to poo-poo the rest of these drivers, but you know, you guys really have your act together up there.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. And Bristol's actually my home track. I just live about 25 minutes down the road, so it feels good to have a good run in the virtual version.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives in Abingdon, Virginia, which I guess isn't too far away from Bristol, and
nope, not far at all.
Loves that season. But listen, man, congratulations on the win over Bristol. What's going to be your strategy here at Lanier on dirt?
I'm not a dirt guy, never claimed to be, so I'm just going to try not to ruin anyone else's race. How's that?
That's, you know what, that's perfect, but that's what separates you from those other drivers we were just talking about. So, all right, man, well, listen, congrats over at Bristol, and maybe we'll see you on the other side here at Lanier.
All right, have a good broadcast, fellas.
All right, that's the voice of our winner at Bristol Motor Speedway, and now, after picking up the win at Watkins Glen International, we have our good friend Jacob Manning. Hey, Jacob, it's Dave and John. You got us.
I do got you, gentlemen. How's it going?
All right. Listen, you know, here's the thing. Practice just wrapped up here on dirt. And I mean, you know, what you went through, you were already the winner on a racetrack that is not the normal, let's just say the normal surface, if you will, that we're used to here, you know, in this league, because of course you were making rights and left turns. What makes it more or less comfortable to be on dirt now?
I would say it's not comfortable at all. I don't feel like it translates. I'm 10th fastest here, 4/10 off in practice. So these guys are about to show me up. I don't got to what I'm doing here, but road was my ringer, I guess, this time.
You know, here's the thing. We were just talking a minute ago, and all things considered, you know, with Ray Massey, I mean, you guys obviously excelled in the short track and the road course, and both of you have now told us, hey, I'm not really the dirt guy. And then we look over here at our timing tower for practice alone, and I mean, Carl Usher and Hutter Cox, TJ Elaine, they were all on top here during practice. When you talk about, you know, the strategy of getting around, you know, here at Lanier on dirt, do you find that maybe you get into a rhythm, or you're just trying to root around in the dark like it's prom night?
I mean, it's going to be, you know, try and get in a rhythm and see if you can make anything of it. Try and learn from the guys in front of you, because the guys in front of you are better than you. And, you know, if you can pick up a thing or two, maybe you can mimic it. Maybe you can figure out a way to do it a little bit better and get by them and hopefully win the thing. So that's my hope here.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations again over at Watkins Glen. Good luck here at Lanier, as it's qualifying time right here on Sim Racing Media. Thanks, man.
Much appreciated, guys. Thank you.
Well, John, you know, we've talked about it, and maybe I mentioned it too soon, because I guess I wasn't really paying full attention to what we had on tap for tonight. But Alan Bergen would probably be the perfect person to explain to us the dirt aspect of tonight's competition.
He would without a doubt be the perfect person on this one. If we could change places with him in the Icon booth right now for this event, that would be ideal. Or if he's just tuning in, trying to watch us both make a fool of ourselves on a style of racing that you and I are just not super familiar with. All I understand is these guys hit the gas, they try to go straight, and they end up going left or right. And, well, if you find yourself turning hard enough left, you'll be turning right. You know, as Doc told Lightning McQueen.
I'm looking at it now. Call Braden over, because the 33 of TJ Elaine really is turning right to go left. I'm looking at it on my screen. Look at this. Hey. My man Braden, of course, is the only baby boy of Jonathan Leach, who thank God hasn't procreated a second time.
That would be,
to be fair, I've done it twice, and it's not that much fun.
It would be incredible. Or are you saying me? 5 years old is a little young.
No, I said you haven't procreated twice. I have
5 years an 11-year-old daughter, but okay, thank you.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Oh God, tell Caroline I'm sorry.
You even know her name.
I knew her name.
Knew her name right away. I sure hope everybody's getting a good laugh on this right now.
Here's the thing, folks. Dave has suddenly decided to give up drinking, and it may have taken off some of the edge from the normal shtick. Maybe it's affecting my memory. Sobriety might not be good.
Oh man, that was funny.
It's awful. Like my man goes to Louisiana to get his daughter every year. That's fine. Take a look here at TJ Lane. It's kind of entertaining to see. The strategy to getting around a dirt track, as we were mentioning, it's more gentle on the straightaway, but when you get into the turns, that's where you're going to control the rotation of your car with the throttle. And you can see that the rear end of these cars is a lot shorter because it's a big block motor under the hood. So, all things considered, you're not going to have that same force at the rear end housing for these cars.
Well, unfortunately, again, I just don't know a lot about dirt racing. I know that it gets awfully dusty when you go there live, and I prefer not to get dusty. So I'm going to enjoy it from the sim right here, and we're just going to see what happens. We got to talk to Curtis Mitchell before this one, and we changed from the Pro 2s. Now we're doing these. There are no cautions, so we're going to have 30 minutes of pure carnage. And somebody of these 40 drivers I'm showing in here, maybe a little bit less than that, because somehow I registered for the race. And I'm guessing about 31 drivers. One of these guys is going to win.
Yeah, there's a few drivers that haven't gotten into the cars yet. But right now, as we get ready to run, Austin Hull and Christopher Smith, they're going to lead off in row number 1. Row 2 going to be Carl Usher and Michael Damsch. Hunter Cox and Matt Frady going to be in row number 3, while row 4 going to house Curtis Mitchell and Dale Ogburn. Riley Dunn going to be starting in 9th, and rounding out your starting top 10 is Dustin McMurray. Mitchell Dahlin being scored in 11th position with TJ Elaine on the outside of row number 6. Row 7 going to house Austin DeMar and Jacob Manning, with Justin Thomas and Roy Cope in 15th and 16th. 17th goes to Brian Bogner, with Lawson Williams and Andrew Ford in 18th and 19th, and your starting top 20 going to be anchored by Brenton Barker. Patrick Craven and Anthony Tofano in row 11, while row 12 is going to house Dave Horton and Jason Julian, and starting shotgun on the field as we stand right now is Doug Ezell from the European Union. Braden Egan, Ian Davis, Corey Williams, Ray Massey have not gone into the race so far, and Chris Rude also just spotting. Perhaps he's
Dave, I like how you didn't call me out for registering for this race and choosing not to drive.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's kind of like Clint Boyer, this weekend. But, I have a challenge for you. Is there a car here in this lineup, and fans too, is there a single car in this lineup that actually has paint? I don't see
Wait,
any paints.
I saw one.
Wendy's.
Yeah, there's a Wendy's paint and mellow yellow on the back there. And just to the inside is a Wrangler. Oh, look, somebody has a Dale Earnhardt paint scheme. There's a surprise.
Oh, yeah, number 4.
Yeah, the 4 is a Wrangler paint scheme. I do like it, but you know what? I'm so mad at that particular paint scheme because there I was standing alongside of you. We sneaked down pit road during the lineup at Miami, trying to get up to Dale Jr. You're the next person in line, and that guy with that nasty, ratty Wrangler hat goes, "This is my daily, Dale." Like he's got a daily wear hat. Like I have a daily driver, and that stupid hat got between him and you and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, it was really Braden's mom who really wanted to meet Dale Earnhardt Jr. As we're green here for 30 minutes of chaos, and we could talk about the junior event again at Miami later. Everybody seems to turn right to turn left, and it's working for now.
Yeah, I like how I just went into a full rant when we were about to go green, but, down the rabbit hole we go. Austin Hall seems to have figured out how to get around this place. Whoa, the 32 now sent to the inside wall. It sounds, the 4 wide, is that a thing in dirt racing? You know what? I'm texting Alan. I don't know if 4 wide's allowed. 3 wide?
I don't even know how some of these cars haven't gone around yet. They've just beat off each other. They've been hitting each other back and forth, keeping each other from going around. There you go. There's our first car that's around right there. I think it's Hunter Cox.
Yeah, that would be the 4 of Hunter Cox, as he has been beaten into the wall. Justin
More cars
Thomas
going around.
Now gaining. I see a lot of spots changing and gaining. Austin Hull just keeps pace. Let's take a look at him up in that 10 up in that P1 spot with the 10 machine. He's just staying out of the way. He's somehow avoiding people. I think he needs to tear off his visor. That's another thing here on the dirt tracks because there's no windshield. The tear off is not on the windshield. It's on the visor, so that's up to the driver to actually have to wipe off.
Just like you say, literally wipe off the visor.
Yeah, this time you really do have to wipe the visor. I'm curious, though, if you're racing in VR, if you're one of these drivers that is a sadist and wants to be in VR, do you have to, when you turn your head, does that change the perspective of the mud on your visor? Let us know in the chat here on youtube.com if you're one of these crazy people that wants to race with VR. I tried that
really
for about
good
15
point.
minutes.
And Chris Rude is driving. He's not spotting for this one. He is on track in the number 27. Well, he's on pit road on the number 27.
I don't think you can park there. The 23 just did the same thing. Is that even a thing?
Dave,
folks,
I don't know. I'm just really glad that Curtis, released us of wrongdoing and said just have at it and enjoy this, because I don't even know where to begin to call this race other than Austin Hall, Carl Usher, Christopher Smith, Michael Damisch, and Matt Frady are the top 5. Things just keep happening so quickly that it's just hard to say. Biggest movers, Justin Crittenden. He's been one of the biggest movers every track we've gone to. He's up 15. You got Jason Julian, or is it Julian? I'm not sure. Plus 10. Brenton Barker up 9. Andrew Ford and Ian Davis both up 7, respectively.
To be fair, due to your recent travel changes in your life, I'm going to leave it up to you to make any of the Hispanic pronunciations. I feel like by injection, you know what and what not to say, or how and how not to say it.
Yeah, I hope. I've got lots to learn still. Unfortunately, I won't be out of country again for a while, though. No, Duolingo is not it. Comprehensive input, learning your vocabulary. Those are the ways to learn Spanish. And unfortunately, I just don't feel like it's coming along quite as much as I need it to be. I need to be able to commit more like 3 to 4 hours a day.
Buddy, I mean, you know, or crazy idea, get yourself an iPhone and some AirPods and do it real-time translation. You're fine. That's how I talk to the painters and the cleaners that I use.
What I've been told I should do is I should put my phone and my iPad into Spanish, and then you're forced to learn it. You're forced to use the Spanish, you know, the same way that a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old learns English, just by doing it as we got a car around. You know, I'm looking at our events on the right side of my screen that I'm not able to show our viewers this event list, but there's a whole sea of red.
It's a lot.
And a whole sea of red, meaning there's cars going around, as you see a bunch of them right now. Austin Hull's still managing to hang on to the lead. We're just going to go on board with him for the next, you know, handful of laps and see what he sees, as he's now 3.5 seconds ahead of Christopher Smith. And we've got about 14 drivers on the lead lap.
14 drivers on the lead lap, 5 minutes on the clock. Like, they've got 25 minutes to go. I make a motion, there's a motion on the floor. If Austin Hull becomes the only driver on the lead lap, they call the race. Because I got a feeling right now he's 3.1 seconds ahead of Christopher Smith.
You know, I also want to, you know, just go ahead and invite any of these drivers that are already out to join the waiting room, and we'll just bring them into the booth to help us call this.
There's a reasonable chance they don't know anything about dirt racing either.
Well, I mean, I would like to hear from some other drivers.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying. Are
there any of these guys out of the race?
Not yet. There's a couple of DQs: Braxton Owens and Bryson Sayer. That's about it.
I'm sending some messages out. Wow.
Is that a thing? What's Alan doing? Hey, my washer texted me and said it's done.
You know, a long time ago, there was a video. You laughed, I laughed, the toaster laughed, I shot the toaster. We're getting ever closer to that.
Yeah. It's reasonably uncomfortably true. Oh, look, there's that stupid blue and gold Wrangler logo again. You know, I just sent a text message to our good friend Alan and just simply said that we're calling a dirt race and we don't know what we're watching. And it's almost like telling a crack addict that we got some of them drugs they like. And I'm waiting to just hear that. As we've got Curtis Mitchell in the broadcast booth. Hey, Curtis, it's Dave. You got a copy?
What is going on? This is, oh my gosh.
Look, listen, we've got the wrong guys in the booth. You know, all we're seeing is as many cars go around in circles as you guys are seeing. Every corner, there's 2 cars that go around. Austin Hull has managed to navigate everything that is turned up in front of him. He's managed to navigate every single thing, and he's finally being chased down by Christopher Smith. But we really could have used Alan in the booth for this one.
Oh, it's wild. We are definitely going to be throwing the yellow here. And if you have the voice chat here, these guys are going after it. But yeah, so we're doing all right here. I mean, we're going to throw the yellow here in about 2 minutes, get the field stacked back up, and there is an incident point limit here too. So the guys can only get 21X before they're DQ'd. So not everyone's going to make it the whole way. I don't know how Austin's avoiding everything. I've spun out probably 9 times. But hey, this is a good way for the guys to get some of their anger out, see a different side of each other, and just do their thing.
It's entertaining. It's allowing, you know, Dave and I just kind of banter back and forth, and it's nice to talk to you. What are your predictions? Do you think we're going to have a repeat winner of these 5? Because I thought it was almost going to happen, you know, the last race with Jacob Manning, but Ray Massey managed to hold it off, and there's only 5 drivers on the lead lap now.
There's 5 on the lead lap right now? Oh my gosh. Well, half of the guys first off, yes, I think we're going to see Jacob in victory lane at Michigan. I got TJ Elaine for Charlotte.
Who's
and I think
preparing for
Ray's
Charlotte right now?
Yep. Sounds about right. I think, well, one, there is a button, keybind on here for windshield tear off, where you get all the dirt and crap off your windshield, and half of these guys didn't program that. So for some of these guys, they're driving blind right now, with no view at all of what's in front of them.
Austin Hull is one of them. We're on board with him right now, and you can see his helmet is covered in mud. And he has just lost the lead now to Christopher Smith as the first lead change of the race takes place at 9 minutes, 27 seconds of 30 minutes.
Oh, man.
It's not bad. That's something to be. Oh, wait. He's got it back. All of a sudden, he needs to clean that.
And if you move over now to Christopher Smith's onboard camera, as the caution has been thrown, courtesy of Curtis, Christopher Smith desperately needs somebody to wipe his visor off, because you really can't see anything in this machine. Maybe just turn your graphic setting down and it'll disappear.
Well, y'all, I'm going to hop out and talk to the guys, get everyone back in the lead lap, and we will join you here in a little bit.
Sounds good, Curtis. We'll talk to you soon. Dave, we are now following driver of the number 36. It's almost completely yellow. And
yeah,
Riley Dunn, and I'm gonna have some fun with this, because in these special events there's no real assigned teams, I guess. I'm not familiar with who Riley Dunn is. However, his team of assignment on iRacing is the Church of Nuggets,
which is different than the Church of what?
Latter-day Saints.
I mean, probably better than the Church of Scientology. I go to the Church of Nuggets. I bow at the altar of Wendy. Got a 4-piece and some scrimp.
All right. Well, let's go ahead. You know, since they can't eat shrimp and we can't eat shrimp, let's go through the line here and see who has the worst view, starting with Austin Hull. Christopher Smith has cleaned his visor. So has Riley Dunn. So has Andrew Ford. Justin Thomas, that has cleaned his visor.
Oddly enough, it's not showing on my side. It's just getting progressively worse.
It's not shown as cleared?
No.
That's strange. It's clearing for me. It shows the mud and then it shows it clearing.
Hold it on Ian Davis. Oh, wait. No. All right, no, wait. Go back to... Go to somebody else. Go to, like, Andrew Ford again. Okay, hold it there. I'm going to send you a picture of it.
I've got a clear visor showing to the fans now.
Well, just hold your britches on. Assuming you're wearing britches.
We're now at the 12-minute, almost 30-second mark of this race. And we're not going green flag racing just yet, but we will be going back soon.
Now, was the indication from Curtis that he's going to put everybody back on the lead lap?
I was under the impression that we're just going to get everybody put back together here. I think it would be too challenging to attempt to wave everybody around.
I don't know.
Now, what would Alan call all those, you know, dirt pebbles at the top of the track? Would he call that the cushion, and you want to avoid the cushion, or you want to use the cushion, depending on what the surface is like?
I feel like the cushion is for when you're pushing. I don't know. I think you want to avoid that. Like,
well, yeah, I always thought you tried to get your right rear tire in it to help you turn.
Yeah, but you don't want your left rear but you don't want the left rear to touch that thing. Oh, by the way, we're back green. Green Flag Racing and Austin Hull manages to go back Green Flag Racing. I feel like you want to try to set. Let's look here at Austin Hull. Now he's staying down on that darker area. So on an asphalt track, we would assume that that's the inner groove. So he's actually setting his right tire on that groove on the darkened area, but staying as far away from that loamy, soft, cushiony stuff, the cushion for the pushing up there at the top. You know what? I can't figure this out.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anybody wants to get up in the, I guess we'll call it the dirt marbles up there.
I don't think they're marbles.
Well, I mean, it's certainly kicked up dirt that's getting up to the top of the track right there. And I would certainly say that that line of darkened dirt right there in the corner, it's got to be slicker or more packed down than some of the rest of it. As on my screen, you could see the dirt being thrown by the rear tires up to the top end of the track right here.
Well, that indicates then that it's actually not packed down, that if it's dirt being thrown up there, that's probably all soft and has no ability to get any torque or get anything out of the rear of your car up there. Ah, look, somebody was just up against it. There was a race car up there.
Hunter Cox right here, number 4. He's back up to 11th. We saw him have trouble early. He is not on the lead lap. I don't know, maybe he is. He's on the lead lap, 11 seconds down.
You don't say.
It's almost like an art form. I can't for the life of me imagine how to get around a dirt track like this. And I'd like to think that it'd be easier in a real car, but I have a feeling that it's not the case at all. 'Cause, I mean, you could make the argument, oh, you can feel it better. But just because you can feel it doesn't mean you can do it. As Cox is a little too much. He's going to go around and get smoked by, I think he got hit by pretty much everybody coming around, and he's going to go in reverse. And he's not going to have many opportunities to go.
Nope, that Cox is flopping down here against the wall. He manages to get, there we go. And he also uses the upper gears. So he's trying to keep himself in a position where you're not using too much RPMs, because too many RPMs cause you to spin out altogether. Now, some of these drivers have gone up into that upper groove, like Riley Dunn, where we can see Riley Dunn now using some of that softer cushion up there. Yeah. But only in 1 and 2. Down here in 3 and 4, he's staying below it.
Now, perhaps it's because it's not as far away from the wall, and you got a little more wall clearance on the other end as opposed to this one. But it looks like cars got into that, and they threw all that away, and so it's really not available anymore.
I don't know what to make of it now.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either.
There's got to be a guy who works at the local hardware store that knows about this stuff. And quite frankly, the fact that you called this an art makes me scared, because that means that Alan Bergen would have an art form that he appreciates. Oh, the douche just knows directly. Who was that? That was Jacob Link.
Wow. Holy cow. This is a trip immediately to the hospital.
The hospital? He might as well be in the back of a slow-moving ambulance in Daytona. I think he just tried to do a Dale Earnhardt impression.
That was a little dark,
like
Dave.
It's 25 years later.
I know. That was a little dark. We're going to watch this one more time. Jeez.
Oh.
Wow, that was brutal.
Well, yeah.
Now imagine if you're in a full motion sim, motion sim in VR, and that happens.
Yeah, and you took the words right out of my mouth. All I'm thinking is those seatbelt retractors, like they basically just ripped his shoulders directly off. Good God. Austin Hull still our race leader with now a 6.4, 6.5, and now 7 almost 7-second lead over Riley Dunn. Huh. There's got to be some kind of information about Lanier that I don't know about. Go to the media guide here.
So Riley Dunn is, seems very smooth, but still Austin Hall is, stepped away 6.5 seconds. It seems to be the only thing that we can count on or rely on is that Austin Hall is going to step away. But let's not, sleep on Jacob Manning, who said he was just going to try not to cause any trouble. He's sitting 5th, 8 seconds behind, and appears to just be continuing to improve.
So, first of all, Lanier Raceway officially is in Brazelton, Georgia. And where is that, you might ask? Ain't nobody knows. Even the people that live there don't know where they're from. It's it's just northeast of Atlanta. And if you look on Google Maps and you look at the outline of it, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think this boundary line was originally drawn by Stevie Wonder. Because good God. And really the only thing that's here is a racetrack and a bunch of warehouses along I-85. They've got a Cracker Barrel, so you can definitely get your colon cleansed. And they have a Lowe's. There's a surprise.
All right, so Dave and I are going to step away for a few moments. We're going to take a break as we're going to finish this one up in about 10 minutes so we can get prepared to go back to racing that we do know at Charlotte. And then after that, we will have Michigan to finish off the evening. We'll be back shortly.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Welcome back to Lanier Raceway. Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth alongside the boss man, Jonathan Leach. Right now, Austin Hull, the Canadian, he's Canadian, leading the way here with Matt Frady and Jacob Manning in the field as well tonight. It's been a big night here at Lanier, as we're actually on the third leg of the Charity Cup Series event here on Sim Racing Media. And what that means, folks, is we've already had a couple of different races and a couple of different race forms. We've been at Watkins Glen, we've been at Bristol, and at Watkins Glen we were in ARCA cars. At Bristol we were in the Craftsman Truck Series, and here we are in the dirt stock cars here at Lanier Raceway. We were originally going to be in the Pro 2 Series at Echopark, but next up we're going to be in the O'Reilly Series at Charlotte as we have worked our way through the NASCAR trimmed out vehicles. As we check these machines out, I want to thank everybody for making us a part of your evening and for tuning in wherever you may be and however you may be listening right here on YouTube. It's been a pretty exciting night overall, as just pulling some things together here. We've had 15 drivers turning laps, well, actually just more than that, turning laps tonight as Austin Hull has been leading the way. Currently gapping by almost 11 seconds now to Matt Frady. And when you think about it, you know, Matt Frady here in the number 18 Wendy's machine, he's thinking to himself, hey, listen, I'm just happy to get here to the end without wrecking this thing. And he has done a heck of a job doing that so far tonight. We pull up that battle box, and the next closest car to him is, and there it is. It's not. Well, that's a different control. Just kidding. We'll take a look. Here it is. Our fastest 5 lap average. Christopher Smith, Austin Hull, Matt Frady, Jacob Manning, and Dale Ogburn. The interesting point to that is that Christopher Smith is running in 4th position right now. Not even up here in the top, but over those last few laps, he's averaged 16.68 seconds, 400th faster than Austin Hull. We can make chicken soup out of chicken crap here on Sim Racing Media. Our biggest gainers of the night, we'll get you a little bit of a recap here. Justin Crittenden plus 22, Rhea Massey, Chris Root, Ian Davis, and Caleb White. They get themselves rocking and rolling. And some of these best battles that are going on is Manning versus Smith, which, you know, at least we're not seeing Manning versus Manning or something completely ridiculous as we've seen in the NFL for decades now. So kind of a thank God moment for that as we take a look here at Austin Hull, Matt Frady, Jacob Manning, and Christopher Smith. Those are the only drivers on the lead lap, period. 4 drivers left on the lead lap. I got to tell you, I'm rather surprised. One minute left in the period, 1 minute. $50 seconds left. Once that timer hits 0 here on your screen, essentially the checkered flag will fly. They'll race to the end of the lap that they're currently on, and right now they've already logged 101 laps. So they're going to get to just about 102 with now 30 seconds left, and they're running about 17-second laps. So we'll see if they might get another one. And should be just about there now. With 1 green flag lap to go, obviously not enough time. Austin Hull going to be awarding his charity a $30 prize, as he's going to bring that prize money back home for the 10 spot. The checkered flag flies. It's going to be Austin Hull, Matt Frady, Jacob Manning, and Christopher Smith, your top 4, as we wrap things up. Okay. I guess that's how you celebrate in Dirt World. We're not actually sure. Is Jonathan going to take us to break right now? Jonathan, if you're back.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars. Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to
And the lights are out, you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome back to Sim Racing Media. The Charity Cup Series tonight is on leg number 4 as we get ready to go under the lights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Well, folks, it's the twilight time, and the nighttime is the right time here for Dave Regal and Jonathan Leach in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We've got about a minute left here as we get ready to grid up here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. TJ Elaine is our pole sitter this time around, with Dylan Chavez sitting on the outside of row number 1. Row 2 is Matt Frady and Dustin McMurray, with Kendall Nicholson and Matt Cherry in row 3. Row 4 back here is Curtis Mitchell and Brian Bogner and Tyler Melton in row number 5, rounding out your starting top 10. Jacob Manning and Doug Azell holding things together in row number 6, and starting in 13th position tonight is Brenton Barker. Javier Hernandez is starting in 14th position with Brandon Gaither, probably no relation to Bill Gaither, starting in 15th with Patrick Craven to his outside in row number 8. Row 9 is going to feature Bennett Bauer and Johnny Poston, and Hunter Cox, who has, I'll tell you what, this Cox fella, he has been around all night long with Justin Crittenden and now Brandon Newton starting shotgun on the field. Hunter Cox has been in every race that we've run tonight through the first 3, as now we come in here to the 4th one. TJ Elaine leads us behind the iRacing.com pace car, John.
You know, we were just talking to Curtis Mitchell, who predicted that TJ Elaine is going to be the guy to beat here. He ran a handful of laps at Lanier, and then he exited in preparation for this race, so it's no surprise to see him on the pole at this time. Next to him, you know, Dylan Chavis. So I think we're going to see a handful of different drivers now than we saw, you know, the last couple races. And now we're getting to a more cookie-cutter racetrack. Finally, we got 2 of them. We got Charlotte, the 1.5 mile. Then we got Michigan. After this, it'll be a 2 mile event. So we got 30 minutes once we hit the green here. I think we'll see a handful of green flag racing. Let's go ahead and predict about 40 laps. And they each have 1 fast repair. I don't know, Dave, do they need fuel at 40 laps? I guess it depends on the fuel load. I'm going to go ahead and assume they're not going to be needing fuel, but curious to see.
They shouldn't need fuel at 40, but if we do go green the whole time as we get ready to drop the green flag here, coming into the quad oval, TJ Elaine hits the loud pedal, and all 300 horsepower of these cars comes roaring to life, and I just made that one right up.
I was about to say, I don't know how many horsepower they have.
It's my truck was, I don't know. I didn't do the thing. It became a whole
we're getting
thing.
loose all throughout the field. Everybody, TJ Elaine's in trouble. Wow, the whole field. Everybody except Matt Frady, it seemed like.
Yeah, this is different, huh?
Yeah, that's so strange how that happened. The whole wreck occurred behind the front row, and somehow the front couple created their own mess, you know, simultaneously as this in the back happened.
We're going to take a look at this from the blimp.
God, there's two, maybe 3 incidents all simultaneously occurring from resulting in this, but any one of the 3 would have caused what occurred.
Yeah, take a look here.
I still don't
I'm looking to see where this might have broken out.
Yeah, you know, it almost looks like the red and white car on the outside of TJ Elaine gets loose with TJ Elaine's car to the inside. But that occurs while cars behind them are spinning, and maybe that happened when one of them got off the throttle because the caution's out. It's just hard to say.
Oh, we've got a little bit of time here. That's the 19.
I mean, right there, I noticed the 33 get loose, and then that's when I saw everything happen behind it.
It's almost like everybody decided to, it's like they had a meeting, and they forgot to tell the guys broadcasting this.
We're all going to burn our fast repair to start the race. Golly, did anybody get out of this?
No. Like literally the top 8. They all scampered away. Well, it's been fun. It's been real. I can't say it's been real fun for some of these people. Dustin McMurray gains 3 positions here. He's going to lead the way back to green. Matt Cherry, Brian Bogner, Brenton Barker, and Patrick Craven, your top 5.
So, this changes a lot for these drivers. Drivers that had the fast repair, that had the ability to be more aggressive, do you keep that aggression and go through the field when you have 30 minutes here? Because you're not really, I don't expect there to be a bunch of opportunities to get tires. I don't think we're going to see a bunch of cautions. Perhaps everybody was like, finally we're at a normal racetrack. We can all go a little bit harder. And this just kind of brings them back down to earth, perhaps. But I don't anticipate a bunch of cautions here. And the drivers that lost their fast repair, it's going to change how they race.
Well, but that raises an interesting point overall, though. We've seen some of these drivers kind of hold back, especially if you're not a road course whisperer, if you don't like getting, a little mud on the tires. So realistically, I think for some of these drivers, they might just be getting warmed up for the night.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, I'm sure some people are tired. It's a long event. I mean, we got ready, in our case in the Eastern time zone, it was about 7 o'clock when we got ready, and here we are going on 10. And I'm sure these drivers got in, earlier than that to start preparing and practicing for these races as well.
Well, especially if it's not your bread and butter kind of track. I think that's the interesting thing to remember here. There might be somebody like you and I where we think, this is much more comfortable for us because it is a bread and butter 1.5-mile traditional NASCAR track. But you and I have heard people for, 5, 6, 7 years now saying, I'm not really good at this track. And they happen to be on the podium. It's because they spent the most time preparing for that.
That's a good point. Well, so right now we're at the 5-minute mark of this race. I'm showing 18 drivers on the lead lap. We're going back to green, and this is, keeps catching me off guard. The single file restarts that we're not expecting, because we're expecting these guys to get 2 filed as Dustin McMurray's going to kind of shoot out of a cannon in front of Matt Cherry, as well as another name we recognize, Brian Bogner in third.
I forgot I was in control. Matt Cherry here working in P2, and we go under caution again. I didn't have this on my bingo card. And right now, I don't see anybody registering as having crashed. So let's see if we can quick scan this. Nope. There we go. Johnny Poston. Let's take a look and see what happened with him, as we just caught the aftermath. We're going to see the 17 hook right across the 74. Yep. Well, that'll do it. Kind of an interesting development here. Just 6 actual laps and 7 minutes as we work through this piece. John, this is a different format, and folks, if you're not sure what's going on, basically these races tonight do not have they don't have a lap counter. We have a timer. So it's a 30-minute race, and no matter who's winning at the end of 30 minutes, once they complete that final lap when the timer hits 0, they are the winner of the race. It's not determined by lap time.
It really is unique. I've never been a part of something like this in the 5 years of managing or calling races. And, I'm certainly rusty and out of practice, but I definitely haven't been a part of something along these lines. And, they're starting their chase for the Charity Cup, which is reminiscent of something that we always want to do at Sim Racing Media. And so I'm really kind of curious to see how that's going to go for them. I hope really well. And maybe some of the drivers they've picked up today are going to join them for the chase for the Charity Cup, which is going to be huge for a bunch of charity events or charities as well as the drivers. And it should be a really fun summer series to kind of follow or perhaps be a part of.
Yeah, and the summer series to me are always the most dedicated drivers on the iRacing.com servers, because summertime is really hard to get guys, to hang out at home for the night because, of course, they'd rather be outside doing stuff or on vacation. Wintertime, it's easy to get anybody behind the wheel. But so for these drivers that you're going to see during the summer season, they're the real ones. They're the people who are dedicated to their charities and to their racecraft.
And I mean, you got to give Curtis credit. He's really put together something really neat here. He's done a lot of work. He's put a lot of effort into it, and running a series and coordinating events and trying to bring 20, 30, 40 plus people together is not an easy task, especially when you bring a competitive nature such as racing. And in virtual racing, if anybody's watching their family members or friends right here, you've seen your family and friends race, you've seen them wreck, you've seen them win, and it's very competitive. And when you bring that piece into it, it's really hard to build something, unique and valuable. And Curtis is doing just that. He found a niche, and it helps people, and people want to be a part of it. And it's cool that we get to bring it to the air at times.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, you had mentioned that Curtis can get 30 or 40 drivers together. That's a lot of skill, even though that it's just here in the virtual world. Because let's be honest, we have enough trouble trying to get 2 guys to call a race, much less get 40 to run the race.
I think that's a whole different series of problems regarding, getting our members to call our races. Because, I mean, let's look at it, objectively, even when it's frustrating from a leadership standpoint. 5 years ago when we started this and we had all these guys, and you yourself and myself included, we were all younger. We had less responsibility as far as our real world work, real world goals, life dreams. And every single one of us has, I think with the help of everybody on this team here at Sim Racing Media, has been able to pursue their goals, their dreams, and their desires. And we've all gotten significantly closer, if not having achieved them. And so, unfortunately, sometimes being on the top is a little bit more lonely. And I think that's kind of the separation piece that's occurred here, even when it's frustrating at this level to continue doing our grassroots tradition of calling races and trying to be as reliable as we always have and as good as we were in the past.
Hey,
That'd be a good podcast excerpt right there.
I chose iRacing over my marriage and have the divorce papers to prove it.
Yeah, feel bad about that. It looks like we're going back to green. On that laughter, Dustin McMurray is going to be in the restart zone. Going green, we have about 18 and a half minutes of racing to go here at Charlotte. And we're going to see what happens as we're single file.
We might be starting single file, but they're doubling up as fast as they can at the top of the pile. We see Matt Cherry here kind of forming this diamond pattern. This is what has always scared me, is Cherry's going to peak to the high side. McMurray holds the low side for the time being. But Brian Bogner, he's just kind of hanging around. He's lurking. He's lurking, waiting for either McMurray or Cherry to make the mistake. And so far, they haven't done so. But now they're matching one another wheel for wheel as we work here on what's currently lap number 11. It's minute number 12 here in the Charity Cup Series on Sim Racing Media, and now Bogner has fallen alongside of McMurray, so Matt Cherry has sole possession of the lead.
And then Brenton Barker, another driver that we talked about at Watkins Glen a couple times, is also into the screen here at fourth. The third caution is out now, and I'm seeing TJ Elaine falling in the standings as well as Brandon Newton.
Going to take a peek here. Looks like our friend from the European Union, Doug Ezell, may have been involved in this most recent caution. Let's take a look from high atop the racetrack. If he wasn't, I'll say sure he was. Let's take another peek, maybe a little closer in. Yeah, that'll do it. We might be able to back that up so we can see this. Nope, probably not. Yep, here it is. Let's see if we can go back here and maybe run this back just a tick further. Nope, doesn't want to cooperate. Of course not. So when we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Matt Cherry, Brian Bogner, Dustin McMurray, Brenton Barker, and Patrick Craven going to be your top 5. Now, we haven't seen anybody come down pit road except for drivers that were involved in wrecks. So, you know, nobody recently has, and this is caution number 3 for the night. So you've got to figure as we approach that halfway point, John, that maybe we might see a couple of people the next caution come down, get some fresh tires. It's not going to kill them. You know, it's not going to sell them insurance or anything. Good Lord, get some fresh tires. You've got time.
Yeah, in this case right here, we're going to be at the 15-minute mark, maybe 16 minutes before we go back to racing. Why not grab some tires and, you know, give it a shot and see what you can do here. Got to feel bad for some of the guys that expected to be really good here, like TJ Elaine. Hate to say that, but Michigan would be like a home-style track for him, so he's going to have an opportunity to, you know, to make good on the prediction that he might be the winner here, because I think he's, for lack of better terms, toast, unfortunately. And we were expecting a lot. Just weird, you know, it's weird to nowhere to go. I mean, the 19 at the beginning of the race got loose when, you know, there are 3 cars that wrecked all at the same time. Maybe the track's looser than we expected, and that's the problem that we're seeing. I'd get tired.
Yeah, I mean, you know, conditions-wise, if we I got to find the new button for that. Oh, my. Well, isn't this cute? As you can tell, kids, I don't very often get to do all this. 69 degrees, the outdoor ambient air temperature. Track temperature, though, right now, just 70. So that's actually getting to, at least my opinion, maybe a little too chilly. And it takes that track from being sticky good to sticky not so good. As the green flag flies here, Matt Cherry in the single file formation takes the green flag. We go back underway in Concord, North Carolina. Dustin McMurray now bringing up that 3rd position in the one on the high side is the double natural of Brenton Barker.
What a paint scheme.
Barker holding his own. I kind of like that. It sticks out.
Yeah, I really like that color as I hear someone sliding and I see a caution to match the slide. Bennett Bauer, that's a name we haven't heard yet. Okay. I'd like to see what that looks like from the inside of the 27. I don't think we're getting the full story right there. I think it was the 27 that was involved. Yeah, that's so strange.
Nope, nope. I think we're looking at this a little too seriously. Let's check this out again. I think the 20. I think that it wasn't the 27's fault. I think Bauer came down.
Well, no, it doesn't look like there's any intention here, or it's almost like Bauer's car just slows quite a bit more than the 27.
Well, let's go to race review and just decide that it was a racing deal. That's, I mean, back in the day during the old Sunday night NASCAR days, if nobody could figure it out and we were getting tired at the end of race review at the end of the night, it's a racing deal.
Well, if no one can figure it out, that's not a bad way to do it.
Yeah, if there couldn't be a clear consensus, it's a racing deal. Well, caution number 4 of the night. You know, it's really a shame for some of these drivers, especially the ones who are excited to get on this mile and a half here. Because, you know, first of all, it's a bread and butter track. Second of all, this is probably the best racing you're going to see all night here and at Michigan, my opinion.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Michigan, but it's fast. It could be loose. We could be seeing a repeat of the same again. But it's going to create for some really good racing, because Michigan has kind of turned into, with this new car, a track that you can almost drive a couple different lanes on, especially turn 3 and 4. And it'll be really interesting to see how these drivers choose to navigate that.
Yeah, loose and fast, like my women, is one way to keep your Saturday night or Sunday night exciting. Matt Cherry leads the way tonight. He's going to be scored in the lead, but our big movers of the night all up by a dime piece. Patrick Craven, Justin Crittenden, both of those drivers up plus 11. Our big mover in the wrong direction is Tyler Melton, and he has gone absolutely nowhere tonight. A couple of these drivers decided not to come out and log laps. In fact, 5 of them. We could have had 25 cars. We only had 20 take the green flag. Let's see if we can find a favorite paint scheme in here. Nothing really. I mean, that pink Mountain Dew stands out. Doug Gazelle stands out, but also because he doesn't use the same money. Hunter Cox, drop your socks. Matt Cherry takes the green flag again, and here we are on what would be lap number 19 with 8 minutes and 56 seconds left to go. Pretty good battle starting to wage back here as we take a peek. Side by side they go. Patrick Craven in the 9 machine, holding himself together. It's a pretty good knot of cars right here, 6 of them, 3 rows, 2 by 2. And all things considered, they're holding themselves pretty steady. Dustin McMurray now looks to the inside of Brian Bogner. Brian Bogner looking to the inside of Dustin McMurray. They're going to duke this one out coming through the tri-oval, and securing 3rd position for the time being is Jacob Manning, working his way past Dustin McMurray. Patrick Craven slides back into 5th, still up 11 spots, but Manning now gaining his 8th spot of the night and taking over 3rd position, crawling onto the podium. 7 minutes and 36 seconds to go now here at Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. You know, we talk about how important Charlotte is, of course, the home of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, but the other thing that it is it's home to, like, what feels like half of the major teams in NASCAR who have Chevrolet ties. And, of course, you know, the Toyotas and the Fords. But I can't really, I'm having a lot of trouble with the Toyotas these days, especially when somebody calls it a Yoda. Just bothers me. They know who they are. But right now, Matt Cherry, Brian Bogner, Jacob Manning, that's your top 3 as we work here with the green flag in the air. Jacob Link running the number 74 Chevrolet Camaro, just behind Dillard and Chavez. Chavez or Chavis, whatever he wants to be, still trying to get back up to P2 where he had started this race after qualifying. 6.5 minutes to go. Matt Cherry and Brian Bogner lead the way, and Bogner starting to creep in on him. Here's the view out of Bogner. Now we start to drop up. Watch the 29. Going to go online here with Bogner. We can see that, oh boy, that number 45, it's the 2 being scored as the 45, holding his own. This is quite a battle we have going down the backstretch. Watch the 45. Whoa, the 50 just shoots the difference, and Jacob Manning said, I've had enough. I'm coming through. I want to score more. And now rubbing the outside wall is the 45, being scored as the 2. And now it goes Manning, Cherry, and Bogner, your top 3. A few moments ago, Manning wasn't even a factor here, but all of a sudden with 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go, Jacob Manning takes over the race lead, and he could be our first repeat winner of the night, as he had picked up the initial win over at Watkins Glen.
So 5 minutes remaining. I've just been listening to you. You sound good. Been entertaining.
Well, that's what you pay me for. It'd be weird if
And
I was
it's
boring.
raining about as hard as I think it's ever rained in northern Michigan outside my window.
It's not even summertime in northern Michigan, Kid Rock.
No, it is not. It is still like 50 degrees outside.
It was 93 here today. It's going up to 95 tomorrow, and I'm going to go cook my butt off at Citizens Bank Park, because that sounded like fun.
That is really warm.
I mean, I've had the tickets since February, so. Like single game tickets went on sale, and I went a little crazy. Just a smidge. Gonna have my sister and the old man, Pastor Pimp, out there at the ballpark tomorrow, but tonight the focus is going to be on Jacob Manning. Matt Frady and Jacob Link are linked up together here with Brandon Gaither just kind of, again, lurking. Some of these drivers are really patient. Like, that's Mr. Miyagi patience as they're getting ready to fight it out for P2. Watch the 4 of Dylan Chavis. As Matt Cherry says he wants to have a cherry, Merry Christmas as he works the high side over top of the 19. Chasing down the 50-cent piece of Jacob Manning. Manning starting to trot away from these two drivers, Chavez and Cherry, as they're ready to cha their way up to the lead. They thought maybe they could do this by working side by side, but really what they need to do is get... Oh, they made contact! Cherry is down and on the apron. Chavez scampers away, and that's going to trigger a caution as Dylan Chavez gets up against the inner safer barrier here on the backstretch. And if I was him, I would be more frustrated than Akib Larelf being demoted to Fudge Packer. I can promise you that. Let's watch this. Now, we're watching the 19 here. That's who Dylan Chavez is. He's being scored as the 4. And he just came right down on top of that. Well, that tastes like a caca sandwich. Or at least what I've heard. I've never eaten a caca sandwich, but... Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that we've got about a minute and a half left. And just like that, we may see this be the final couple of laps here. Jacob Manning, our race leader, Brian Bogner, Jacob Link, Brandon Gaither, Matt Frady. That's your top 5. Rounding out the rest of the field. Looks like it's going to be Curtis Mitchell, Kendall Nicholson, Dustin McMurray, Hunter Cox, and Javier Hernandez, your top 10. But officially, we are 1 minute left in the race, 1 minute.
It's crazy. We're basically going to end up with a single lap shootout to the end. In fact, we might run out of time. Is iRacing going to give us the single lap? Or is it about to end under checkered with Jacob Manning winning number 2?
Well,
surely it's going to give us a lap.
I don't think so. It says, well, I mean, right now we have 30 seconds left in the race itself.
And they're not going to get around.
Nope. No, I think we have now seen the field freeze, if you will. 29 seconds, 29 minutes, 46 seconds now on the official game clock, if you will.
You know, Dave, this is about to end just the way that one divisional round NFL game for our team ended.
Yeah, and not fun either.
All the hype, all the time expired. Well, let's see. They might take them one more lap. It might let them in under green. Let's find out. I haven't seen a checkered wave. I think this is a mystery to almost everybody.
Yeah, right now, for the drivers in the cars, the pace car peeled off. We're going to get one single lap. This is about to be mayhem on the racetrack.
Charity mayhem at Charlotte. Here we go.
Yeah, they have definitely. Oh, Jesus Christ.
They took that literally. The whole field is wrecking behind Jacob Manning. Does Brian Bogner have anything for him? Into turn 1, this race is already pretty much decided.
Now, Bogner's burnt back here behind Manning. He's going to scamper down the backstretch into turn 3. Link might have a little something for Bogner, but this is a winner-take-all for that $30 to their favorite charity. So Jacob Manning going to be our first repeat winner of the evening as he comes out of 4 through the quad oval and picks up the checkered flag.
I certainly did not see it ending quite like this.
No, I got to be honest. That was kind of an interesting mystery. Well, it says they're unofficial results, but they're official. They're official. Jacob Manning being awarded another $30 to his charity. As we're going to get ourselves ready as he's going to, well, Jacob Manning feeling like maybe it's about time to burn it down. He did earlier, but it doesn't feel the same when you're at a road course. Road course burnouts are not the same as let me go ahead and screw up this landscaping that these people spent 4 days on.
And after this, we have the Cup Series at Michigan for 30 minutes. There will be qualifying, and that's going to wrap up the evening afterwards. I think we're going to see something a little bit different at Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan's kind of a hybrid track. We're also going to be in the Cup Series cars. So, you know, these Gen 7s that we've been racing now the last couple of years, the interesting thing that's going to happen with these is the way that they're built turns Michigan almost into a drafting track, similar to what Atlanta is. And I think a lot of these folks, at least in racing, have always wanted to have more drafting tracks, because we can't call them restrictor plate tracks anymore because nobody's got a carburetor. Feels very strange, but no need for a restrictor plate, so no need to call it a restrictor plate track, I guess, John. But we're going to head on over there for our next leg of this event. We want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. We'll see you on the other side. We head on out here into the Cup Series at Michigan.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome back to Sim Racing Media. Tonight we've got a real special treat, as you just had Jonathan Leach and myself, Dave Regal, here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We really do have the old band back together, as Alan Bergen has decided that you're going to get a taste of the Alan experience tonight, which quite frankly tastes more like tears and shame. But tonight, here in our finale, we're ready to go 30 minutes of racing here at Michigan International Speedway here in Brooklyn. Sitting on the pole tonight, Jacob Manning. He's going to lead us off with Stephen Ray starting on the outside of row number 1. Row 2 going to feature Hunter Cox and Brenton Barker, while Matt Frady and Brian Bogner are going to start in 5th and 6th. Curtis Mitchell and Doug Ezel going to be starting in 7th and 8th. Our Canadian and our nice neighbor from the north, Scott Bolt, starting in 9th with Patrick Craven, rounding out your starting top 10. And finally, last but not least, 2 international entries, Douglas Goss and TJ Graham. And it says TJ is from China, or China, depending on where you're from, but I don't know if that's accurate. But right now, Stephen Ray rolling out behind the iRacing.com pace car. Alan, you've got 30 minutes. Do you think you can pull this one off while we let John take a breather?
I think we can.
You know, I want to chime in and say, look how few the drivers came for this one.
You know, thank God you pointed that out, because I never would have noticed. Whew. That is some crack reporting right there, or reporting on crack.
We had 30 drivers in the last race, and only 12 of them have carried over to this event.
Were any of these? No, you know what? Stephen Ray wasn't even in the last race. He's just sticking around for Michigan. And Douglas Goss, I would have remembered his Canadian butt.
I think we would have. Something about TJ Graham doesn't. I'm not buying that that's from China, man.
I'm not getting Chinese vibes. Maybe it's maybe his first name is So. He could be a general. That could be General So Graham. But right now, as we work our way into the 3-4 complex, Stephen Ray's going to get those gloves pulled up one more time. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. And right now, folks, one final time tonight. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! Green flag in the air, and off we go. 30 more minutes of racing right here in the Charity Cup Series.
And they are off to turn number 1, hot and heavy, and down the back straight away we go.
I give you the floor. This is what you do. Look, let's take a look as we widen things out. We go nearly 3 wide deeper in the field. And as we do go 3 wide, and now the 316 of Curtis Mitchell slides just in front of the 67 of Doug Ezell. Ezell looks to the low side of the 316 and gets himself drafting up just behind the Hooters double natural. Is that even possible? The fact that it's the 77 which makes it a double natural? There's nothing natural about most of those broads that work at Hooters. As we work our way here on the opening laps and the opening moments of this final 5th race. We have been to Watkins, Glen. We've been to Lanier. We've been to Bristol. We've even checked out Charlotte Motor Speedway, but it all comes down to this here at Michigan International Speedway. Hunter Cox, he's got Stephen Ray as he has now overtaken Ray for the lead. And now Cox is going to lead the way through the night here at Michigan.
Well, we're through the first couple laps clean and green, where we had a tough time getting that one going there at Charlotte. I did peek in. I did a thing. I put the 3 monitors down, so I could take a peek through some of this stuff here. But we got the 41 car up here in the front, and that's going to be Jacob Manning, or not Jacob Manning. Wow, whoever the 43 car is there, the National Guard car, and leading this piece. That's Hunter Cox.
Hunter Cox is a hard one to beat tonight. As he leads Stephen Ray, the 7 machine now, that Mountain Dew machine sliding just up. Oh, jeez. He's going to bump Cox right in the rear bumper. And now they're going to all but bump draft down. And look, there is no space between those two as we haul it down into turn 3. That opens the door for the 1 of Jacob Manning, who now thinks he wants to go wheel to wheel with the 43 and the 7. He's going to tighten things up, and as they roll out of turn 4 back toward the start-finish line, Hunter Cox still leads the way as Cox is once again pushed up right against Stephen Ray.
Well, that 7 car is Baja blasting the number 43 car into the lead. Meanwhile, we're going to go, well, the 7 car is going to look to the inside of the 43, down the back straightaway, and he's going to slide up in front of the 43 car of Hunter Cox.
You definitely don't want to be in the way of Cox, as every time he gets around this place, he suddenly gets himself a run coming into 3 and 4. Cox now starting to draft up just behind the 7. Now Cox making contact with Jacob Manning. They go almost 4 wide, and now 3 wide for sure. Watch the 40 of Matt Frady, the meat in this Cox and Hunter and Stephen Ray sandwich.
And just as you say that, Stephen Ray and that 7 car continues to lead here. Here comes the 1 car, though. The 1 car of Jacob Manning to 2nd position. Meanwhile, he's still got Hunter Cox in that 43 car right behind him. And there's the double natural, the Hooters car, who I would be undoubtedly saying he's going to go to the point here for too long, as he looked pretty strong here in that qualifying session.
Well, it's one thing to be in qualifying. It's a completely different ball of wax when all of a sudden you've got to be able to face everybody else. As now these drivers are trying to work this thing out. They're 4 minutes in. No cautions as of yet. And just like that, we suddenly go to ourselves. All but 3 wide. The 77, wow. The Hooters Chevrolet now starting to cut through. There's just a flock of Chevrolets up here atop the pile. 6 of them right in a row before we get to the first blue oval, and then the first Toyota, as well as now the 29 one's in on this. A lot of lead changes at this stage in the race, which is kind of strange to me, at least for my money, as we work here almost 5 minutes into this last race.
5 minutes in here. Oh, here we go. We got another car that looks like the 3rd position. and that would be Brian Bogner and that number 29 car who's effectively riding. Oop. Hello, the one car is going to move to the inside line.
Now the one drifts directly in front of the 29. The 43. Oh, the 43 gets tight, and all of a sudden they just smack the 40 right between them. Frady cannot be happy. Do you think if he and
77?
Uh-oh. 77 is around, and he is falling like a stone. Let's see what happens.
Broken Hooters, broken dreams.
Let's take another look at that, perhaps from the outside of the truck of the car this time. See, now they went 3 wide in front of him, and while that was going on, it's almost like the 77 wanted to give him some room, and he's actually going to be a casualty of what happened here. Let's see if maybe we can get just one really good shot. We're going to slow it down just a little bit for you folks. First of all, you can see that the 77 was already scraping bottom. Now, the 40 is going to get tight. The 43, the 77 had to check up. And when the 43 bumped into the wall, this is the final result. Well, first caution of the night here at the 7-minute mark. Alan, you're here hanging out with us. What's up, buddy? You never call, you never write. You're like a kid who moves out of the house but still wants money. It's crazy.
It's like the vacuum effect.
Oh, there's a vacuum, all right.
Well, hey, my Cardinals are doing better than everybody expected to. But no, what's new with the Allen experience? Well, every day is an experience with the Allen experience. So, but a lot of these guys are coming down pit road and getting short tires.
Are you running for office or something? You just avoided answering that question altogether. What's new and how are you is not a political question. You could answer that and tell me either you're good, you're bad, or go screw myself. Those were the options there.
Oh, I'm great. Every day is a great day.
Well, I guess ignorance is bliss.
Nonetheless, nice to hear you back on the SRM airwaves on a Sunday night.
Well, it kind of worked out tonight.
You got fans over here.
Fans. Nobody has fans for me. I'm getting old, Alan. I have reading glasses that I have to wear because I'm old.
I have everyday glasses I have to wear because I'm, in my 40s, but not well into my 40s, just at 40.
Well, and now I hear you're talking about triple monitors. It's like all of a sudden you wanted to come and see how the other half lives. That's a champagne. Hey, look, that's a nice little. I would have sent you my extras. I have extras. Did you have to get those approved? Did you have to get those approved by your wife or no?
No, they were sitting. Well, the third one was sitting around. It took up space in our bedroom, and she said get it out, and so it was
she was tired of. Well, yeah, she was tired of having you watching porn instead of using that monitor for something useful. Seems pretty simple to me. What do I know? I just work here. Poorly. The question really becomes, do you even want a job? We got a Canadian leading the field here. Something you don't see very often during this time of year. Usually there's no Canadian leading anything. They haven't taken a Stanley Cup home back to Canada where it belongs in decades. It's fine.
I will tell you this, though. My Redbirds are doing better than everybody expected them to this baseball season.
That's all right. The Phils decided to fire topper finally. Not mad about that at all. They decided to come out with the rumble, stumble, fumble routine, and then promptly went like 14-4, 15-4 over the last 19 games. It seems very strange. And I mean, that's really got to taste like crap for Rob Thompson, who just got fired from the Phillies. But I mean, you know, this is the only town in professional sports that can make you unemployed. They did it to the Eagles. They ran Andy Reid out of town, and he promptly went and won a championship in Kansas City. Now, to be fair, Peterson picked one up.
Well, as we are getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing, we are going to be... Oh, the lights are going to be back on. So, meanwhile, your Phillies are now 8 games back. We're still playing 500 baseball in Philadelphia. But we're doing slightly worse than the Cardinals, who are effectively a game and a half back from Chicago. And we have the Reds over the weekend.
Just here on 105.5 WMGH. Rock and Roll Radio. Make sure to check in tomorrow morning on the 8th for your news. As I was just reminded that tomorrow's news has not been tracked yet. You don't say.
In due time. It says Brenton's in the waiting room. That they want us to interview Brenton.
No, we don't.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. Oh, Brenton Barker. You know what? Let's get him on up here. Pace car lights are still on. Brenton Barker, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do got a copy.
Running 11th position right now. That can't feel too great, but it also can't be too bad when you know that you've got yourself at least 18 more minutes.
Well, I'm a little dazed and confused right now after hitting that inside wall a little hard. I can't really see straight, but we're going to give it all we got.
I mean, listen, sometimes if you only got 2 inches, you got to give it the best 2 inches you ever did in your life.
That's right.
Well, listen, buddy, what's going to be the strategy getting through the rest of this thing? As you know, I said at least 18 minutes, but really it's legitimately now 17 minutes as we just crossed that 13-minute mark. What's it like racing against the clock?
Well, right now it's just the name of the game is going to be to save the tires. I think we're going to go green for a while here. I think it was just a slight mistake on whatever happened to the guy in front of me. So I think, yeah, we're going to give it our best run and, you know, do the best that we can.
Right, well, for all my first responder friends out there, make sure that you hit it hard from the yard. Good luck the rest of the way, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
That, of course, the voice of Brenton Barker, currently running in 11th position. Driver of the number 77. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out. And well, folks, that means that we're going to be green flag racing in just a few moments. The 40 of Matt Frady. Thank goodness he doesn't have a... Do you think if he ever got like a feline at home that his pet feline would be known as the Matt Frady cat?
Yeah.
He'd be a Frady cat.
Frady cat.
Matt
He's not a Frady.
There you go.
He's not a Frady cat, bringing us back to Green Flag Racing. Here we are with about 15 minutes left to go, 15 and a half minutes left to go. And he's going to get out to that early lead and lead this piece down into turn number 1 with the 29 car in tow. 29 car driven by Brian Bogner. And they're going to go side by side, Goodyear to Goodyear down the back straightaway. The outside line going to get a little bit better of a run than that inside line.
They've got a good restart. This track, known for its 3-wide racing, has been keeping it real nice and easy as we work here at just about the halfway mark. No reason to have to throw a caution this time and punch the ball back up. They're doing a good job just on their own as Brian Bogner now leads this race in the 29. He's going to be chased down by Stephen Ray, who hauls the 7 machine down to the low side. And Jacob Manning in the ace, just lurking behind. No paint scheme, just black matte finish, waiting to pounce like a lion in the desert.
Maybe that's how you attract sponsors, is by, you know, the black paint scheme. But here comes the Charity Cup guy himself, 316, Curtis Mitchell. He's rocking that 3rd position as we speak.
Now, wouldn't it be a race if he won?
I mean, we'd only have 1 repeat driver for the night, so I'm not complaining about that. But if Jacob Manning picks it up, then he's got 3 on the night.
Oh, Curtis Mitchell going to get a little bit loose. Here comes the 7 car, Stephen Ray. He's effectively in that 4th position here as we got the 29 car to the high side. Stephen Ray going to go back to work on the high side himself. On the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Here's the 1 car out to the point. That's Jacob Manning. No relation to Peyton Manning or Eli or Archie. Just a coincidence.
Hey, John, remember that question I asked about Alan earlier in the evening? I got my answer.
Of course
I got
you did.
my answer.
I knew you would. We should have known that he was going to show up.
Love you, mean it.
Look, every day is an experience in reality.
Yeah, that's why your wife drinks. Jacob Manning now working here on the high side. He's leading the way. He's got kind of a 3-car breakaway. This is the kind of track where you can get a good draft going. And one of the things that I'm always interested in seeing is, especially in this generation of car, whether or not you can make that work, because you can't, you know, it's not like the old days of drafting in the Gen 4, 5, and sort of the 6, like maybe not necessarily the 5s, but definitely the 4 and 6s, where you could draft and slide back and forth and take away people's runs. This thing, once you're there, you're pretty much locked and loaded, and you've got no choice but to sit there and just, you know, wait for a mistake or an opportunity. Whoa! Mistake or an opportunity, and that was almost both, as Brian Bogner almost did his best try to take the entire field out by cutting the nose off of Jason.
Yeah, here we go. The 29 car here of Brian Bogner. But we got some action going on in the back here with the 12 car, TJ Graham, who's taking a 3 wide with Curtis Mitchell in the 40 car of Matt Frady. But the 7 car going to go from the outside to the inside. He's going to scurry away. And Curtis Mitchell going to try to get behind him and get that draft going. As Curtis Mitchell can't figure out if he wants the bottom or the top, or if he wants to put it right up against the wall and try to run what we in the dirt world call the cushion.
All right, so John, we were right. That cushion is up there for the pushing.
I thought I knew a thing or two about a thing or two.
You knew more than I did. That is for positive. I knew that was dirt and those were cars. But I'll tell you what, 1, 2, 3, they go Bogner, Frady, and Manning. This is an impressive way to put this race together. We've only had that 1 caution tonight, and we've basically been under green since, as of course caution came out on just about lap 10, and now we're working here on lap 21, 22 that is, and no problems ever since. Not a bad thing, not mad at it so far tonight here at Michigan International Speedway.
Yeah, especially with 10.5 minutes left. Matt Frady went from the back to the front to the back. Now he's back there in 2nd position. And that 29 car of Brian Bogner, he's catching a lap car up there. I don't know exactly who it is. I can't see that far ahead. I think it's Brendan Barker. It is. Whenever the 29 car catches him, he's going to have some decisions.
Caution. 23 around?
I believe.
The 20 is around, but I'm not sure if it's being scored as the 20. Could be. Looking for it.
That
That's
is a
23.
2-car.
Give me a second. Well, the 20 is being scored as the 2. Let's take a look here. Woof! They took everything they could out of the suspension phase. And now he's more like Project No Hope to pick up the W tonight. Hey. See here what happens if we go this way. This will give us a little bit of a better view of what just happened. It just looked like maybe Craven got a little. Nope, there it was. Craven had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it looks like 7-car just come out the wall, and there was a 20 in St. Pete's real estate. But
Wholesale pit stops underway as basically 10 cars, which all of them happen to be lead lap cars, going to come down. Now Stephen Ray is going to come down. So 11 out of the 12. The only reason Scott Bolt has not come down is he put it on the hauler early tonight. He's Canadian, so they probably have a different bedtime north of the border. He's probably from Quebec, too. They only speak French.
So did he win the race to the syrup stand?
I can't imagine there's a stand that sells Canadian bacon, because Canadian bacon's already terrible, so as it is.
Well, I got into an argument with a pizza place one time. Canadian bacon's the same thing as ham. I got educated real quick.
You didn't know that?
I
sure
know
he was
things.
kidding.
No, I don't think he was. Alan. You didn't know Canadian bacon and ham are basically the same?
I knew that.
Uh-huh, okay. You
It's
just
a brand.
You don't even want... Yeah, it's definitely the brand.
Not a brand, but
He also,
you know.
well, oh, the brand is Alan. Believe me.
What
Bogner's
could
gonna
we
take the
put
green
together
flag
and
this
call
time.
it the Allen brand? What could we do?
A collection of slinkies that don't work all the time.
I'm sure we could do better.
No, a slinky keeps you busy, keeps you occupied, and eventually you just want to put it down and maybe go put your finger in an electrical socket. Ooh! Alan electrical sockets. You can plug something into your mouth and fill the gap between your teeth. Great. I think it's great. Oh my God, the eyes are for your hot and not, and the ground plug is your tooth gap. We have it.
Meanwhile,
Back at the ranch, you go ahead, pal.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Brian Bogner continues to lead this piece over that 1 car of Jacob Manning, and here comes the number 40 car of Matt Brady, who does not have any caps, I don't believe so, but here comes Curtis Mitchell riding in the 4th position. These guys are just about single file out, but here comes the number 12 Toyota of TJ Graham, looking to make things happen on the low side, as we just about have 5.5 minutes left in this piece here. These guys are all jockeying for positions. And now we got a side-by-side battle with Brian Bogner and Jacob Manning, and Matt Brady trying to put his name in the hat for this, as they are all riding that Kyle Larson line, or what I would call a cushion, but now they're going to go to the inside and make a pull out of here. A little bit of side draft going on. Yes,
I mean, here's the situation in a place like this. First of all, we saved the best racing for last. We go 3 wide with Jacob Manning, the meat in the middle of this sandwich. And, you know, here's the thing. When we widen stuff out here to the blimp view, these drivers are giving each other just enough room. They're waiting for the run to do the bump draft move. You know, you're not trying to take, you know, maybe one car that does have a little bit more oomph. With these fixed setups, they don't have a choice but to gracefully make those bump drafts. And now all of a sudden the one goes to the high side. That opens the door for the 40 of Matt Frady to now stay on the low side. Now, originally, he had a little bit of a run that could have drafted him up to the back of Bogner, but Brian's now starting to scamper away from the rest of the field. Bogner's going to need a good bump from Manning or whoever can get to the rear bumper first to stay ahead. So the question is, maybe if the 1 and the 40 want to work together, they can easily get around the 29. They can blow the doors right off of them. Now, the 77 of Brenton Barker, he's going to get into this dance as well, and the 1 just shoots right underneath the 29. He just decided, hey, I'm really done with the patience thing here. And with just 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to go, Jacob Manning, our new race leader.
Well, just as you said that, here comes Barker to the inside. He's thinking about that 2-for-1 special, and he's got Frady to his outside. But Barker's working that inside line, and you can almost get a good run off of there if you can know how to run that inside line. There's a trick to it, and I've done it a couple of times, but nonetheless, the outside line seems to be the line that's going to work for everybody.
He's done it a couple of times. He watched himself wreck the entire field at least one of those 2 times. Side by side they go. The 40 now of Matt Frady works just to the low side of the 29. Brian Bogner tries to hold himself on, and Jacob Manning leads the way with just 2 minutes 55 seconds left to go now at 30-second laps. That means we've got about 5 laps of really decent time left, and then we're going to have about 2 laps as a shootout to the finish. Jacob Manning leading the way. If they can keep this green, this might be our best race of the night right here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal, Alan Bergen, and Jonathan Leach, the boss man, with you tonight here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As you've been watching the Charity Cup Series, we're on the final leg. My God, was that? Peeking in here on Curtis Mitchell in the 316 Charity Cup Series Chevrolet Camaro, just in front of the 77 of Brenton Barker. Whoa! What in the blue blazes is he doing?
Michigan sure has not disappointed.
Nope, Michigan has absolutely put on the best show of the night.
It's about to get now. I would say it's about to get spicier than Taco Bell tacos on a Monday night.
You're very proud of yourself right now, aren't you? I mean, well, folks, we like to we hire the handicap because they're fun to watch.
Oh my gosh!
Jacob Manning leading. What? Jacob Manning leads the way. What? We're an equal opportunity employer. It's a federal law. He is a protected class. Jacob Manning leads the way with Matt Frady hot on his heels. The 1 and the 40 going at it as they haul things down into the 3-4 complex right now. The 40 slides just ahead of Jacob Manning. They go door handle to door handle coming out of turn 4. 50 seconds left. We're going to have about a lap and a half left of green flag racing from right here at Michigan International Speedway.
As we come down to the last 30 seconds right now, there's more action right here in the top 3 than there is on the Waffle House at 3 a.m. as we come through turns 1 and 2 for what might be the final time in that 29 car. That's Brian Bogner. He's got to be looking for that 2-for-1 special.
Peeking further back in the field, the 43 getting around the 2 of Patrick, well, the 20 of Patrick Craven. They're going to bump draft down through the corners. All of a sudden, Jacob Manning all by his lonesome out here, 0.3 of a second ahead of Matt Frady. 9 seconds of green flag racing left to go. They're going to cross the start-finish line. Final lap right here at Michigan International Speedway. They will race back to checkers. Jacob Manning, all bets are off as Matt Frady's got nothing left to lose except for $30 to his favorite charity. Time has expired.
He gave it all
here
he
in the
had right
charity.
there.
Yep, he just blew his load all over the back here, and now it's Jacob Manning alone. Matt Frady still side by side with the 29, but Manning has really put on quite a clinic here toward the end of this piece, running and winning from the pole. Final race of the night in the Charity Cup Series. It's going to be Jacob Manning picking up the checkered flag right here at Michigan International Speedway.
Wow. Alan, I want to thank you for coming by. Y'all made this really, really entertaining for me to watch. I got to be a fan and enjoy at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are here to entertain and inform.
You know, I haven't heard the word absolutely the entire time Dave and I have been working.
Oh my God, that was so horrible once upon a time. That was so bad. That had to be the worst phase of this company ever.
That's almost as bad as side drafting in a Chicago street course.
No,
he's not with us anymore. We can't do that.
There was somebody else who used to work here that once upon a time couldn't stop saying yes, sir.
Huh.
Was ready to punch that particular person right in the mouth.
But right now, Jacob Manning's burning it down with the 77 car of Barker right there with him.
Well, they figured why not. Seemed to work out.
Excuse me.
Well, folks, let's take one final look here at our running order at the end of this piece. Jacob Manning picks up the checkered flag, winning from the pole tonight. He's followed by Matt Frady, Brian Bogner, Curtis Mitchell, Hunter Cox, Patrick Craven, Brenton Barker, Douglas Goss, TJ Graham, Stephen Ray, Doug Ezell, and Scott Bolt. As oddly enough, all of our international entrants finishing in the lower half of this field. A Canadian, a Chinese individual, a European, that's just the EU flag. And if you all paid attention to Sheldon Cooper's Fun with Flags, you'd know that. And Scott Bolt. Actually, that's not the EU. I think that's the UN flag.
I can't really see it close enough to say for sure.
I can. Hold on. Let's zoom in here on the old. That is definitely the UN flag. Strange. Well, whatever. Everybody.
Fun with flags.
Everybody needs a hobby. Fun with flags. Let's check on in over here. Where's our race leader, Jacob Manning? I see Hunter Cox. We've talked enough about Cox tonight, that's for sure. I'm just chewing my lip all the way through, kids. Because, cancel culture being what it is. Here's Jacob Manning. And I can't get him out of his chat. Why? Let's try this again. Hey, Jacob, it's Dave up at the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do have a copy.
Buddy, listen, you pick up 3 wins tonight, $90 to your charity. Let's talk about your charity tonight. Who were you raising money for this evening?
Well, it's funny you asked that. I didn't have a plan at all coming into tonight. You don't expect to win or anything like that, but I just have not looked into the charities. But as I was talking to one of my teammates about that, he was mentioning a nonprofit organization in Indiana that they raise money to build motorcycles for veterans. And I was like, well, I think I'm going to do that. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yep. Listen, huge supporter of InVets here. They of course, create quite a community out there in Indiana to bring veterans to that state to live and work. And I'll tell you what a great organization InVets is as well. So you can check that out. Listen, man, you saved the best for last here. You pick up the win from the pole, but it wasn't without fanfare either. Take us through some of this tonight and how you find yourself here in Victory Lane.
I mean, it's not easy. These guys are good, and a lot of my teammates throughout these different wins here tonight. TJ Lane's quick, but he just couldn't quite get up there in that Xfinity race, and so I got lucky a couple times, and I just did things the right way here and there, and it ended up working for some of them. The other two, not quite so much. Maybe I didn't know what I was doing at the dirt track, but I think it was fun all in all, and Curtis put on a heck of a show.
He sure did. Well, listen, man, congratulations once again. We appreciate the time. We know it's been a long night, so get on out of here and let's call it a day. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Well, fellas, it's been quite a night. We've gone over the final results. What's the takeaway from this kind of a format of racing? Because I'm telling you right now, if it wouldn't be for the fact that we've been at it now for the last almost 4 hours, I would say the time limit race is almost better than the existing formats that we've been using.
I thought it brought some exciting in at the end of Charlotte. I wish there was a way to know, though, if you could be like, all right, are they going to cross the line or is it going to end under yellow? But it seems like it's going to give you the one-lap shootout at the end, which is also exciting too. But I guess I just kind of wish I knew the exact way that iRacing treated that, and I guess we do now. I like having the one-lap shootout. It's kind of insane, and it occurred precisely the way we expected it to.
Which does increase the drama. It increases the excitement, and really, to me, it's almost like when they brought the pitch clock to baseball. I wasn't a fan of it at first. I was kind of concerned coming into tonight's race, but these guys really put on a great show and proved that this is definitely the way to go. But listen, folks, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. And, of course, we want to thank Alan Bergen for making a special cameo appearance. God only knows we want to get rid of him as fast as we can. But we appreciate everything that Jonathan Leach does for us here at Sim Racing Media and everything that he's done since the inception of this company several years ago. And for myself, Dave Riegel, my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Alan Bergen, and for our good friend and the boss man, Jonathan Leach, we want to thank you for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.